Sports Hub headlines.
After taking a 3-1 series lead, the Celtics have now been pushed to a Game 7 by Philadelphia after another ugly loss last night, 106-93 at Xfinity Mobile Arena. Tyrese Maxey led the winners with 30 points. Joel Embiid added 19 to go with 10 rebounds, and Jaylen Brown's team looked off again.
Their comfort level is higher right now. Their confidence is high right now. You know, they got a different swag to them, and we got to take that. They're not going to give us anything. So we got to be the team that throws the first punch, and that starts with me. I gotta come out with a great force. I got to play smart.
Jason Tatum had 17 points and 11 rebounds for the Celtics, but left in the third quarter with a calf injury and did not return. He said afterwards his leg felt a little stiff, but he was not concerned. Game 7 tomorrow night at TD Garden. The winner of that series will play the Knicks. They humiliated Atlanta last night, 140-89 to win that series in 6 games. Minnesota also eliminated Denver in 6, 110-98. They'll play San Antonio next. Bruins will be at TD Garden tonight to play Buffalo, down 3-2 in that first-round playoff series. Victor Arvidsson didn't practice yesterday. He's not expected to play tonight. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 7 and the face-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Last night, Minnesota eliminated Dallas in 6 games, care of a 5-2 win. Anaheim beat Edmonton in 6 thanks to a 5-2 victory of their own. The Athletic is reporting that the most likely Patriots trade packages for Philadelphia wide receiver A.J. Brown would be a 2028 first-round draft pick or a 2027 second-rounder plus a player. And the Red Sox had last night off. They play Houston at Fenway Park tonight, and 6'6" lefty Jake Bennett has been called up to make his first Major League start. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Premier Basement Waterproofing. If you find water this spring or your sump pump isn't pumping, call the best. 3rd generation owned by the Albert family and offering 0% financing. Call 844-LIVE-DRY or visit premierbasement.net. Say it with me, it's game over for water. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Boston Talk Sports.
Drake May. We all know what, but we won't say what. Yeah, worst take on these airwaves in the last 24 hours.
We may not take a call today.
The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
Yes, I finally shaved my nuts.
and Hardy
Who, me?
Just hanging around.
on
We're the best friends that can be, my buddy and me.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
We have an intern to come out here and help me with the weather. I got Hofstra University. Now here's a look at your national forecast.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Isaac.
Those are your weather headlines. Back to you.
That's Isaac. Our own Isaac on Fox and Friends.
Hey there.
Just killing it. Completely calm and composed in the face of pressure. We are Toucher and Hardy and...
Say my name.
Isaac. I said it, buddy. Don't worry.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
Isaac, now I just think that you're... Look, we've given you enough credit today.
Yeah, I think that's
Please,
last 2
Isaac.
days. Come on.
Please, Isaac. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. You can download the podcast, 617-779-0985. It's going to be a very John-heavy show today with the loss of the Celtics. John, I would imagine you're fairly upset.
Yeah, I'm trying real hard to be positive. It's hard to be positive after watching what's happened the last 2 nights, and especially last night where almost nothing changed from Game 5. So they missed a lot of shots. They couldn't contain Joel Embiid. The Sixers wing players hit threes. It was a carbon copy of two games ago. So the Celtics have the better team, but they're not playing well. They're not playing well at all, and Philadelphia is playing really well defensively.
You thought the Celtics were shooting poorly in games 4 and 5, and that the starters weren't getting anything done.
Right.
Holy crap.
Yeah, 12 for 41 from 3 last night. Tatum and Brown are isolating on wings and trying to do it all themselves. Meanwhile, Philadelphia's calmly moving the basketball, finding open guys. Everyone's sticking their open shots. And it got so bad in the second half, the Celtics had open shots and weren't making them. I mean, they're spooked, all of them. And, Joe Mazzulla is calling as many timeouts as he can, but it doesn't matter. You still got to send his players back out there, and they're not performing well.
So 12 of 41, and that includes 3-pointers made by Baylor Shireman, Ron Harper Jr., and Luka Garza.
And that was after the game was out of hand. Joe Mazzulla cleared his bench with 10 minutes left.
No, with more than that.
Well, it was early in the fourth quarter, and they were down 23. Usually 23 points isn't that much in the NBA, but Mazzulla was right. He called it a night, but the only reason they were as good as 12 for 41 is because Shireman hit shots, Ron Harper Jr. hit shots, and Garza hit a three from the top. Otherwise, it was much worse. They shot 29% from three as a team, but it was under 25 with the starters in.
Yeah, Brown was saying that the second unit played harder.
Yeah, they did. They played much harder.
Well, in a game 6, you would think that wouldn't be as much of an issue, just effort. But the real loser here is John, who with his expert analysis that they need Embiid, they don't need Embiid. You were the only one who said that.
Well, John's having a rough morning. Okay. I walked in this morning and was told by Nicholas, did you notice there, and earlier there was some construction sound coming from above us.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Nicholas told me he came into the garage this morning, and some of the workers asked him, they said, hey, do you know who else is here this early? And he's like, well, I know some of the people. Why? They said, well, we're here working on this stuff, and somebody comes flying up the ramp like a bat out of hell. And we were like flashing our, flashlights at him and stuff, trying to indicate to him that this is a work area and you got to slow down. Nick goes, oh, that's terrible. See anything with it? And all they said was it was a black SUV. Now, who do we know who drives like a dickhead consistently all the time? Cut me off, by the way, about 2 weeks ago.
What was that?
Leaving here and trying to go south on 95, and I was in the right lane. Sometimes you have to get in the right lane when there's someone making a left right before the split there. So, yeah, I'm not going northbound. I need to get back over to the left so that I can go south. And someone comes zipping up past me on the left, even though I had my turn signal on and I needed to merge over. Nope, not happening.
And it was Johnny Boy.
It was Johnny Wallgame. One can, bat around some theories as to who was driving like a dickhead, up the ramp past some workers this morning in a rush to get here and start. The Celtics
Well,
lost.
you gave him such a hard time about being late.
Really
did
lost.
lose. That's a good imitation. I type very loudly.
You were making a big deal about him being late. Perhaps you would have been responsible for any deaths, really, Hardy, based on your shaming of him yesterday. I will tell you this: I saw those guys.
Is that gaslighting? Did we determine what's going on here, making me feel bad about this?
Yeah, what happens is when someone dies tragically, what you do is you spread the blame around to as many people as you can to shame others.
All right.
You use the death as an opportunity to take shots at your enemies.
But I would also, the opposite of gaslighting, take a moment to point out the positive reaction of one Nicholas Gemelli, who did not rat anyone out. He just said, oh, I don't know. Nick knew fully well.
Oh, I would have told him it was John, and then we would have had a good conversation because they probably listen a little bit at least. You think that they would be John's fault?
It was very blinding, that light. Reminded me of your phone light yesterday.
Yeah.
More gaslighting.
Yeah, that is gaslighting. All right, so those guys were playing very fast and loose, by the way. Not that they're doing anything wrong. I passed them too. They did not flash lights at me because I was not going fast.
Right.
But yesterday coming out, so what's happening is that there's a 3-floor garage here at this building. And you know how those things work. It goes up. Well, no, because the one at Lifetime goes down. So it goes up. And so you're going up. And I guess they're working on the lights like on the second floor because there's rock and stuff. It's like kind of you're going up from street level, but I guess this is built on a hill, so like
It's very dark.
Yeah, so it's underground, but no one's ever been working on a ladder before. And yesterday, because I park out of nothing but OCD and some kind of superstition, I park on the third P3 because ever since we've been here, there's been turmoil, but it's all kind of worked out. So I feel that if I park on P3, that I'm not tempting fate. This is the reality.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
I totally get that.
You don't mess with a streak, man. It's working for you.
Right. And so, because they told us to park on P3, and I listened to them, and I feel that in any way, if I'm appeasing karma, I will continue to do so. Even though I'm the only one in the morning now who parks at P3, even LBF has given up on it. So
which is interesting in your otherwise oppositional defiance disorder personality. That's the one thing. That's the one rule you have decided to follow.
And what's funny is that has occurred to me that maybe this is the rule to not start messing with, and because I'm a bad boy, I'm an anarchist, and so yesterday I was going down. And I didn't almost hit him or anything, but there did not have flashlights because it was light out, and they were working on a ladder that was by where you turn. And I'm like, oh my God, because then I thought what if I was looking at my phone or going fast, because fast meaning 10, but going fast because no one ever has been on a ladder there before.
Yeah.
And then I thought these guys are brave because I'd be crapping my pants to be up on a ladder, working on something on the ceiling, and then have cars passing me by without any kind of cones or anything like that. So I did see him this morning, and it was funny because they were looking at me either incredulously or with some concern. And I was like, well, I don't blame them. It's dark, and they're working on a ladder. But now I understand that they had the hell scared out of them.
Exactly.
But I would suggest putting up for them some kind of
flare.
No, just
indoors. Can't do that. But...
Or what you do on the side of the road when you put up a sign that says work, just for their own safety, not for me. I mean, listen, I'm not going to hit them, but I would hate to see them get hit.
If I were John, I would have just the worst pit in my stomach right now, knowing that they could still be working when we leave here today, and you're going to have to drive past them. They're going to remember.
What if we came in and John had committed vehicular manslaughter?
It's going to happen one of these mornings.
I mean, was it all worth it, John? I mean, you're going to lose your family. Ben, go ahead, because you'll be in jail. Hello, Benjamin.
You are such an anarchist. You should start your own English band and be like Chumbawamba. Now, shout out YouTube and Twitch Nation. Gentlemen, I must remind you that Wallach is a bird of prey as an eagle, so he does have some dominance, and it is the springtime, so he's at heat, so he's got to get home to some smothering there, some
death spiral.
He's got to get right into it. So, but Wallach, you just go out there with a metal pipe and just hope for the best after today. All right, buddy, I love you.
All right, Ben. Thank you.
It's
I'd be in there. What did the guy say yesterday?
death spiral.
No. I'd be
buried in it.
I'd be buried in it.
Yeah, you'd be
That's
buried
what he
in
said.
it.
Buried in it.
We were talking about Belichick and Jordan, and it's become a topic of conversation in my personal life about what is really going on, because he can't want sex that bad at 74. I just assume that your libido gets, despite testosterone or anything else, just naturally, despite any hormones you might pump into your body, your libido is going to have gone down from the peak of sexuality that I believe for men, at least back in the day, was 18. And so, what the motivation would be, and then a lot of, especially women I know, think it's like a femdom thing where he likes being humiliated financially, and I guess in other ways. Women are so interested in this because it's a younger woman with an older man, especially a gross one. Because I think women are if we're losing to guys, older guys, this gross. Like, this is a bad precedent. And so this guy called it, and he goes, like, Fred, you're out of your mind. He's smothered in it.
He's buried in that thing.
Yeah, he's buried in it. He's buried in that thing.
He's buried in it.
He's buried in it.
He can't get out. He's buried.
And the thing is, Nick had put in Fred's out of his mind, so I thought it was going to be someone yelling at me, and it was just the guy being really funny and talking about how Bill was just caught up in the sex.
I was living there.
And I was not having, and I was not going to debate him because he was so.
He was on fire.
He was.
He was going.
He was going pretty good. So you
Well,
got.
there's some people whose minds are not going to be changed.
Yeah,
And that's a fool's errand.
Yeah. It was. I learned my lesson. Not a fan of this Seinfeld, by the way. Dan, go ahead.
Hey, my mom has like this glass porch, like with windows, and to keep the birds from hitting it, they like put stickers and hang string and stuff from it. Maybe you should put that near the guy on the ladder, and maybe Johnny Boy won't fly into him too fast.
Yeah, they needed to think about that, and perhaps that's on building management for not knowing that, for everyone's good. John could have done that.
They should listen more.
Zoe just texted me. He said, I'll buzz the tower on those workers on the way in. They won't care. They gave me a slice of pizza yesterday on their break.
Did he spill that, too, in the studio? Or did he hold on to that piece of pizza?
I don't know.
Did he spill that on Beatle's laptop? He dropped that over there?
We'll have to share that audio later.
I'll tell you what, no one gets more love.
Seriously,
from brick and mortar people.
He's amazing.
Not brick and mortar, their jobs. Like, I'm talking about like real people on the
tradesmen.
street. No, I didn't mean it that way. I meant it like, brick and mortar establishment as opposed to online.
Oh yeah.
So like Zolak, I don't read anything about him online, but like online, whatever, man to man in person.
He gets more analog love.
Yes,
than
analog
anybody.
love. Yeah, analog love than anyone.
Yep.
That it's really something.
So like almost hit us. That was awesome.
Yeah, here's some pizza.
Amazing.
Like
while he's driving with a few dents in the car as he goes by. Seriously. It's like, wait a minute. That car has dents in it. We should feel lucky.
It's a lease.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure they're really going to ding him for that.
Yeah. It was free lease.
Well, I had a free lease at 99X in Atlanta when I was doing nights, and they gave me a car that no longer exists. It was essentially an SUV with a bed in the back, like a pickup bed in the back. I can't tell you how long it was.
GMC Envoy XUV.
Avalanche.
Yeah. Oh, look
and
at
so,
you, 12.
and so, thank you. And so there was an indoor garage at a venue that I had to go to, and I parked it next to a pole, and I was pulling out, and this thing was, 25 feet long, and I am not good at driving these things, and I ended up scratching the side of it, and I lost money on the endorsement.
That's tough to do.
And I didn't have any money. I
boy.
wasn't making a lot of money.
And you were only paying what, the insurance on the car?
I wasn't paying anything for the car because it was. I had auto insurance, but I didn't have to pay anything for the car. It was like I was giving it for a year.
Yeah.
And whatever I made back then for an endorsement, but I got the car and the endorsement, and it ended up costing me money. Like whatever damage I did was far beyond, or at least a substantial bit beyond what I had done. And I'm like, well, I didn't ask you to give me this car. I was incredulous with that. I'm like, you gave me this huge car. Like, what do you want me to do about it?
Is that the only car you've ever gotten?
Yeah.
Yeah. 32 years full time on the radio. Never gotten a car.
Me neither.
And I've let it be known recently and many times over the years, hey, I'm open for business. I need cars all the time, especially now with one kid driving, another one about to drive. I'm not saying the kid's going to take the car. I'm saying, hey, maybe me or Marcy, they take one of our cars and need a car. Nothing. Never. Not once.
Yeah, only one time for me.
I think the midday show's been flush with cars. Yes?
Just Zoe.
Oh, I thought Beetle had one too. No?
Nope. I mean, Beatles got his guys there at well, I don't want to say for sure, but I think
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He's been taken care of, but I think as much as anybody does when you have a friend in the auto business, and I get it, they're still going to make money off of you. It's a business, but the here is a car for you to drive for 2 years that it will cost you nothing. That deal, no, never had that one.
Yeah, but he played for the Patriots and does the games. That's got to be the main thing, right? Like they're associated with the Patriots broadcast or something like that in some way.
I don't know. Seems like people have gotten cars in radio.
No, they have.
That haven't played for the Patriots.
Well, in 2026, maybe you had to have played for the Patriots. I don't know. But, give Hardy a car if you're listening out there and you have a dealership, please.
Don't give it to John. The thing's going to end up crushed like a soda can.
Or if you have a decal of your dealership on it, it's just going to lead to people calling you infurious. Someone driving one of your cars just cut me off.
When's the last time you got pulled over?
It's been a while. Now, having said that, thank you. Now I'm going to have a target.
5 years?
5
3 years?
At least 5. At least 5.
When was the last time you got an inspection sticker? Mine expired in January.
Oh.
Do you know what they?
It was like last year. What are you talking about?
Do you know what'll happen when they go back when you go get it inspected?
They'll put it back for January.
January.
Yeah, because I do this every year. The reason I mention that is I get pulled over once a year and they say your inspection sticker is expired, and if it's in Newton, they'll go, "Oh, hey, Fred," and I'll go, "Hey," and I'll go, "You got to go get your inspection sticker."
I got a ticket for an expired inspection sticker in the Target in Watertown parking lot.
Really?
I came out to my car and there was a ticket under my windshield for an expired inspection sticker.
But you might be able to relate to this. I never really drove drunk at all. I really didn't. I got pulled over drunk once in Atlanta, and I got real freaked out about it after that. And I was pretty good about not driving drunk.
Well, how about impaired?
No, I didn't really. I swear to God, I got real freaked out. I got cuffed and put on a front of a cop car and drunk, real drunk.
Okay.
And they let me go because of it's a good story. Maybe I'll tell it one day, but I don't know if I should tell getting onto drunk driving stories. And so there is that part of me that when I get pulled over, there is that sense of like, well, I don't drink. I got nothing in the car. I got nothing to worry about. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. We did mention the Celtics, so you can't ping us for that, but we will get well into the game coming up just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Zoe, and you can design your dream outdoor space with TechoBlock and South Shore Landscape Supply. Check out TechoBlock, North America's leading manufacturer.
Sports Hub.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night's brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. Hardy, obviously the Celtics in a series that at least I just thought was a matter of just having to play the games, like play 5 games. Much like a couple years ago when, they just cruised through everything. And if you asked Vegas, it was really the Knicks maybe a little bit of a difficulty, but other than that, it would just be losing to Oklahoma City or San Antonio in the final. But here we are, Game 6 in Philadelphia last night.
Right, and look, from going back before we even knew who the Celtics were going to face, we had this discussion, and I don't know if I said it here. I know I definitely said it one night on TV with Kayla Burton when she and I both decided Philadelphia's that one team. There's something just rubs me the wrong way about it, and I don't know what Embiid's status was at the time, but it was mostly Tyrese Maxey, and thinking about what he can do in games. I wasn't thinking a whole lot about Edgecombe, and I was probably thinking back to years ago with Lowry being in there and that little tub of goo going off for 26 when he had no business doing it,
flopping all over the place,
yeah, just
and
bad.
Yeah.
So I in no way predicted this, and I don't think anybody should, because the only team in NBA history, I learned this morning, to win a playoff series after losing 2 games by 30-plus points were the Minneapolis Lakers in 1959 against the St. Louis Hawks.
Okay.
So if you lose big to a team early on in a series, you don't come back and win that series.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like last night after the hiccup here in Boston that the Celtics were going to go on the road and play in Philadelphia, and they were going to win and everything would be fine. And despite what happened in the third and fourth quarter, the Celtics kind of had control of this game early on.
Jaylen Brown steps to his left, pretty good look at a 3, knocks it down. Wow.
Boys answering.
Nobody was hitting threes. Now everybody is in this sequence. 38-36, Philly by 2.
So it looked like for a moment they had righted the ship, and they had the cold start shooting early on, had the lead 38-36. That's when I feel like Philadelphia just went on a never-ending run after that point. And yes, Maxey was one of the guys.
Maxey out of the left side, running through Embiid. Bounce pass, there's that backdoor cut. He falls away in the baseline and gets it to go. Big second quarter here, 33-point second quarter for Philadelphia.
And it just didn't stop.
They scored 38 points in the second quarter. They scored 38 points in the second quarter, and in the first half, they were missing shots, especially in the first quarter. They weren't lights out.
Both teams were missing everything.
That's the point. Philadelphia was missing shots. Philadelphia sat Joel Embiid for about 6 minutes there in the first half, and the Celtics lost DeAndre Drummond minutes. I mean, even with Embiid out, Philadelphia was the better team, and even with Philadelphia missing shots, the Celtics couldn't do anything at the offensive end. And then Jaylen Brown and Amish Queta got into foul trouble near the end of the first half. I mean,
a lot of silly fouls by Jaylen Brown. Offensive fouls, yeah.
Jaylen Brown has 9 offensive fouls in the playoffs, 4 more than anybody else in the NBA.
And he had, I think, second most in the regular season. Now, what do you chalk that up to? All right, he's controlling the ball for the lion's share of the season, and he's a physical player anyway. I kind of forgive him for the regular season offensive fouls. But for him to have the most at this point now, no. I agree with you, Fred. Committing a lot of silly fouls. The extension of that left arm when he's protecting the ball back with his right.
NBA players.
How many times do you have to do that and get called for it before you understand you're not going to be able to get away with that?
And NBA players athletically are too good now. They see that coming. They'll flop a little bit. You saw Oubre do that on the baseline. Yep. You see NBA players can feel it coming. They'll launch themselves backward and draw calls. And Philadelphia has been very, very smart.
Right.
They've looked at film and like, all right, if this guy starts to do this, fall back a little bit, you'll get a call.
Right.
And
Now,
sure enough, there you have it.
You do it against Paul George, and the refs looking at it just as human beings, being like, oh, there's a couple of big guys, and they're just fighting. No, one of them's obviously flopping here. But Oubre's a great example. You do that to him, and he goes down, you're going to get the whistle. Joel Embiid. Yes, he has found his game.
17-point game, 82-65.
That was a big possession, though.
Can you make them nervous? Can you make this building nervous?
Yeah.
No.
Can you get it under 10? Edgecombe dribbles in deep, throws back to Embiid, wide open at the free throw line, swish.
Hitting those little 12, 15-footers. He was dishing it out last night when he had to. The offense did not stall when it got into Embiid's hands. The only time the Celtics really showed life after having that lead in the first and maybe early in the second, when they still had a lead, was when all the starters sat down for most of the fourth quarter. I thought it was the entire fourth, like you, Fred, John. They played
10 minutes left. They took 10, 11 minutes left. They took everyone out. Tatum was already out. He had a calf injury, which he said afterwards he's not worried about.
And it's not the leg that he had the Achilles on.
Right.
Correct.
So, they took out Brown. Missoula, after a timeout, took out Brown and everybody else, and I agreed with him. I'm like, none of you guys are getting anything done, and the game's pretty much out of hand, so fine.
Yeah. Shireman, Garza, Harper.
Pritchard, going to his left, behind the Garza screen, finds Harper, corner, three, got it. Timeout, Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
Because they got it to within 11, 12 points.
Yeah, they got to cut it to a dozen.
And they were playing with better pace, more energy defensively, more energy offensively.
Pritchard to his right behind the Garza screen. Edgecombe in front of him. Pritchard switches to the left hand, shovels to Garza, who rolls right down the middle with a right hand slam, and the Celtics have run off 11 straight points, and they've cut this to 12.
That was fun.
Yeah,
made it a bit of a game, but it wouldn't last. And Philadelphia still had their starters on the floor.
Tyrese Maxey out at half court. Final 5:18 here. Celtics down by 17. Joel Embiid puts that body on Shireman. Spins, kick to the corner. Edgecombe, three. Good night.
Yeah.
Margin is 20 again with 5 minutes to go.
There are a lot of real bad warning signs here for the Celtics. Joel Embiid shot 6 of 18 last night, and it was no contest. He had 8 assists. He's passing well. The other part of it is the Celtics tried to change things up a bit. They threw a couple of double teams at Embiid, but he's smart enough finding open guys, and Paul George has turned back the clock about 3 or 4 years, and you saw him during the middle of the game take over, and that's not something the Celtics had counted on. Philadelphia did not rebound the Celtics last night. Turnovers were similar. They didn't shoot the ball much better than the Celtics did, and they were clearly the better team after the first quarter.
Okay, so
the thing about Embiid coming back, maybe, because Vucevic is terrible. He is a liability. He can't score and he can't guard Embiid, so you're in a bit of a trouble. So bringing back Embiid, I don't even know if you can play Vucevic.
Ultimately, Kata's going to get into foul trouble, and you're going to have to bring him in.
Yeah. My point is that, say Kata doesn't get into foul trouble, I mean, can you play Vucevic? Or Vucevic?
No, it's Vooch. You got it.
Vucevic. I mean, can you play him? Because he can't score and he can't rebound and he can't defend.
I agree with John, though. It's can you? You're going to have to. Because Kata's going to be in foul trouble.
I'm just saying is that you made this move at the deadline to bring in a big three-point shooter, like a big guy that fits this 5-out offense that you're playing, and he can't shoot, and he can't guard bigs, and now you have a re-energized Joel Embiid who's guarding guys on the perimeter, and Nick Nurse talked after the game, John, and he said he didn't shoot well, but he was guarding guys at the perimeter, and he almost had a triple-double and this and that. But there's a real matchup issue with him that none of us saw coming. You thought it would have slowed the 76ers down, which it does. I mean, it slows them down. But the other stars on that team are able to still get theirs, and it just you don't have anyone that can take him even remotely one-on-one. And when he, just like in Game 5, when he's making those, jumpers from the free throw line, there's nothing, you can't stop him.
That is a big problem, but it's not the big problem.
No, it's not I'm just bringing up many problems.
No, they have a lot of things, a lot of issues here. The Embiid problem on the defensive end is significant, but the bigger problem is on the offensive end. This team was so good offensively all year long, and now they can't get people open. And Tatum and Brown are having trouble taking guys one-on-one because guys like VJ Edgecombe and Paul George have decided to finally play defense.
Yeah, in Philadelphia, they're saying this is the best Paul George has played in a 76ers uniform, and his defense on Jaylen Brown is part of it, a big part of it. It's interesting because it's a trope with the three-point shooting, and it's a trope with all these things. And, they won a title, and they've overperformed this regular season, and, you get sick of hearing people knock it. But there has to be an adjustment or a plan B. That is inarguable. Like, if this isn't working, and you lost Game 5, and it's not working in Game 6 in the second quarter where you're getting killed, you gotta have a plan B. You gotta be able to adjust, because now it's a Game 7, and I understand that this has worked all season, and maybe you give it a go again. But when you find out it's not working in an elimination game, it would be nice if you had a plan B, if you could make some adjustments.
There's no, for instance, you see the Sixers throw the ball into Embiid, and then he will find an open guy to shoot a three. There's nothing like that in the Celtics offense. Demias Queta is not an offensive player. He's not a low-post player you throw the ball into. He's not necessarily a good passer at all. So the Sixers don't have to worry about that. And
if anything, it's going to be Brown penetrating into the paint and then looking for that guy in that
Brown
perimeter.
can't get there. That's the problem. He can't get the ball into the paint to kick the ball out. There's no reason for anyone to leave their man on the perimeter.
And Tatum can't either. Tatum looked slow last night.
Tatum actually looked good in the first half. First quarter,
but he didn't look. He had points in the first quarter, but after that he did not look great.
But the problem also is, Fred, you saw Tatum put it in his mind to take over the game in the first half. The offensive possession would be Tatum outside trying to make something happen, not passing the ball.
Yeah.
And the Celtics, he'd be 1 and out. Philadelphia would get the rebound and go the other way. You look at the Sixers, the ball movement 8 million times better. And heading into a Game 7, among all the problems the Celtics have, here's another one. Tyrese Maxey hasn't had that one game where he goes absolutely crazy. He's averaging 25 points a game or thereabouts in this series. But Maxey, we said this, Fred, before the series started, he is the best pure scorer of anyone in the building. He hasn't had that 40 or 45-point night that he's capable of. And when it comes down to one game like this, if a guy like Maxey gets hot, Philadelphia is going to be real tough to beat, let alone all the other problems with Paul George and Embiid being rejuvenated. I mean, the Celtics are in a lot of trouble here.
For Game 7, tell Derek White to focus on his defense on Maxey and don't worry about shooting the ball because he can't shoot it anyway.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I was going to bring this up. There was signs of life, actually, from Derek White last night. He actually hit 3 threes. So which by itself, you look at it and go, all right, fine. Considering how poorly he shot the ball for about a month or two, that was a step in the right direction. So maybe he can springboard off that and play better in Game 7. But, I mean, Celtics winning Game 7, I don't know if that it's far from a sure thing.
Did he hit his first three and then miss his second three? I think that was the line for Derek White last night. So recency bias. And I know he hit a couple early, but I think he hit his first three and that he was 3 of 6. By the way, dropping the bucket in a game where you were down, 20 plus at points. But the free throws, again, Jaylen Brown at one point, he's 1 of 5. He ended up 2 of 6 on the night. All told, they were 9 of 16 from the free throw line.
The other scary thing about the Celtics, you have guys with championship experience on that roster. There were periods of time in the first half when Philadelphia got off and running there and scored almost 40 points. They looked tight. And you see Tatum short on a free throw. Brown short on a free
Yes.
throw, where you normally don't see that.
Clanging front iron on a free throw.
You don't usually a guy like that, people like that with playoff experience. I mean, you have the NBA Finals MVP in the building. They looked nervous.
Yeah. All right. We got a break. We'll be back. We can continue to talk about this. Also, the Knicks with a historic victory last night. A game where at a certain point, if they kept up the pace, they would have easily had 200 points.
Yeah. If they had called off the dogs, though.
It was a bit of an ass kicking, maybe the biggest.
And we had an almost fight in that game.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Tyrese Maxey scored.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Listen at the end of this segment for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Shane Gillis at the TD Garden. And later today, we'll have tickets to see the Bruins tonight. The Celtics lose last night, but if they do win Game 7, their opponent has been decided.
Yes, the New York Knicks were playing the Atlanta Hawks last night as the Knicks were leading 3-2 in that series in Atlanta. I'll just give you the scores quarter by quarter. Quarter one, Knicks 40, Hawks 15. At the half, it was 83-36.
And it could have been way worse. It could have been worse. They could have easily had 100 points.
Yeah, it was 78-30 at one point. It was really something. It's just...
And during the third quarter, the Knicks, they didn't let their foot off the gas until the fourth.
Knicks had a lead trimmed down to 8 as Alvarado takes a late shot clock heave left wing, and he rainbows home a three-pointer. It's that kind of night for the Knicks.
It's literally that kind of night.
Rainbows home a three-pointer.
That's New York. Boy, that's New York City. Huh?
That's embarrassing.
That's the Knicks, where it costs $500 for an upper level ticket to round one. That's the guy they got calling that thing.
There was a dust up in this game too.
And Robinson just being held up. Brent Barnaky gets knocked down. Robinson wants to go after somebody. They're trying to separate two. Robinson really upset. The frustration's coming through for the Hawks right now. Robinson responding. Did not see what started it. Okongwu was doing an excellent job of trying to keep him away. Robinson, they pulled him away several times, but he keeps going back.
Yeah. It was a cheap shot by Dyson Daniels while the two of them are standing next to each other during a free throw. Dyson Daniels, by the way, the runner-up for NBA Defensive Player of the Year last year. I mean, this guy's a pretty good player. And he just throws an elbow up under the chin of Mitchell Robinson and then takes his left arm and tries to yank it out of its socket by spinning away from him. I'd have been pissed too.
And it was like a weird time too, because you're going to get eliminated. You're not winning that game. I mean, it had already been decided. So it's not like you're setting a tone for the series and you just decided to, try to hurt a guy in an elimination game for you. And it was just really weird timing. But it did a good job of slowing the game down.
Yes.
A game that was decided, halfway through the second quarter, which it really was. I think I even heard a broadcast of it where they were saying, you never say games are over. The NBA is a fourth quarter league, but this game is over. And, you got a guy out there who's trying to hurt someone and then just stopping the game. Because if you flipped around, during the many breaks of an NBA game, the Celtics game, and you put on the Knicks game, it was nice in a blowout to just have no activity for 10 minutes.
I'm just counting during the middle of the melee there. I'm counting the coach to assistant coach ratio in the scrum. Right now I have it at 8-11 with the assistant coaches outnumbering the players.
Yeah.
The gray shirts and the black shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have both rows of assistant coaches got involved.
They meekly hold everyone back.
So many people working for these teams.
Yeah.
And they're all out there. Oh, this is my time to shine here.
I get to stand on the court. This is great. This is what it feels like to be in front of 17,000 people.
Yes, there you go. So either way, it would have been the Celtics playing on Saturday night, whether it was going to be the Knicks, but now it will be the Celtics and the Sixers playing their Game 7 tomorrow night.
Yeah, with the Knicks getting some rest.
Yep.
Before this whole thing starts, and the Celtics, including a banged-up Jason Tatum, having to play Game 7.
I mean, I already was scared of playing the Knicks, and now they're stuck with this Game 7 against a Philadelphia team that's flying right now. All of the confidence, you can see the confidence of all of these role players. Edgecombe, as good as he is, he's a role player. Paul George has been hurt for most of the last 2 or 3 years, but he's 35, and you would think his best basketball is behind him, but last night was vintage Paul George. I'll step up in front of a guy. It doesn't matter who's in front of him anymore. This is scary stuff. I mean, the Celtics are still capable of winning this game, but, I mean, the degree of difficulty is now so high. And you're right. You don't know what Jason Tatum is. He said he wasn't concerned with his calf injury after the game, but
let me tell you,
got to worry about him.
Just from like the most elementary of like perspectives, I would feel better if all their shots were either, like back iron. And I think Vucevic actually had one like rattle in the rim.
Yeah, it went around and popped out. Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
Tatum, Brown, both now for 2 games in a row have airballed 3-pointers. Tatum had one last night where he was wide open. I think it was the designed play for him to take the 3-pointer, and he missed everything. It's happened now for both guys multiple times for multiple games. They're missing everything.
Missing open shots because they're so used to everything being contested. I mean, I can't get over the way Philadelphia has played defense in the last 2 games after getting their ass kicked in Game 3 or Game 4. It's remarkable that Nick Nurse has gotten them to play this way because Paul George is not a good defensive player. And he is playing, like you said, Fred, great defense on Jaylen Brown. And no one saw any of this coming. So give Philadelphia credit. They're right there.
Yeah, it's a bad time for you because you have Paul George playing, as people in Philadelphia are saying, the best he's ever played as a 76er. Embiid looks relatively healthy, and he's able to defend the perimeter, and he's moving around pretty well. I understand that they take him out for periods of time, but he's moving pretty good for him. He played good defense yesterday. And then you have Maxey and the rookie. I mean, it's not a bad lineup. They don't have 2 $50 million players. They don't have
They only have one $50 million player.
Yeah. So, they don't have 2 $50 million players, but now all of a sudden you're up a team that looks a lot better on paper now than they did at the beginning of this series. So certainly not a done deal like we all thought. It's going to be interesting. The Celtics could come out and roll them on Saturday night. But they got to do this
sports
now.
Day. Oh, we got the Derby before that.
Oh yeah, I've already.
What are you
picked
wearing?
A nice seersucker, and I got my lady a big flowery hat.
Yep.
Just so I could punch myself in the face.
I'm gonna drink some virgin mint juleps.
I like going to a bar 1,000 miles away from the race and pretending that I'm there, even though I know nothing about horse racing.
I go to my friend's Derby party every year, and I'm not the only one, but I'm in a very distinct minority who do not play dress up for it.
Yeah, I will never do that.
Man, good for you.
It's funny.
Oh, you're such a fun kid. You're such a. I'm not doing it. It has nothing to do with. And I have no problem with everyone else dressed up. I'm not getting.
Sorry, I threw out all my stupid clothes last year.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. What are we doing? Especially with a bunch of people that I hang out with normally. No, but this time we're gonna wear little outfits.
It's fun.
No.
Used to think of Bukowski going to like the track in L.A., and now it's just a bunch of rich gambling addicts. That's what all horse racing is. That's what Saratoga is now. It's just a bunch of rich guys that are gambling addicts that buy horses and all that stuff. Like my father, who had a harness racing horse. Razzle dazzle. Caller number 10 in the contest line, 617-931-0985. Will score a pair of tickets to see comedian Shane Gillis at the Garden May 7th. Shane Gillis brings his stand-up comedy tour to the Garden for 3 big nights, May 7th through the 9th. Limited tickets are still available at Ticketmaster.com. We'll be right back with Bert Breer.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy. Sports on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. We're going to have Cedric Maxwell on today. We'll have Bruins tickets. We will talk about the Celtics. Don't you worry. But Bert Breer is here. Maybe we'll let Breer, we'll still pay him, and he can sit in if he wants, but maybe we'll let Breer go a segment early to get back to the Celtics.
Yeah, it was an ugly night last night.
Yeah, because maybe we should do that, Bert. It's no offense to you. I'm just thinking about it now. It's just more because the Celtics lost last night. But we love having you in. And I was on vacation, and I saw you. You had a great story and some great insight about, and you'll be repeating yourself, but you haven't told this to me, is that about Vrabel and kind of the vibe around the Patriots with him right now and how things are in that building.
Yeah, that really took off.
Well, I mean, super interesting.
It feels like everything you say on this, like I feel like everything I say turns into like a headline on Awful Announcing or Yahoo or whatever. But
consider it a compliment.
I think to some degree what I said last week was sort of common sense. That
yes,
I mean, you have a coach who I've said it to you guys, like this is the same Mike Vrabel I covered as a player. Like this is the same Mike Vrabel that I've known when he was, a player in New England and Kansas City, and I covered him, during the lockout when he was on the executive committee of the NFLPA, and I was around those guys every day, and to being a coach at Ohio State and Houston, Tennessee, and here, like, he's just always been the same guy, and there's a bravado to him. There's a swagger to him. And as you might imagine, when somebody's going through something like this personally, it's going to take a chunk out of him, and it has. And so when I've talked to people who are there, they're like, yeah, of course. Like I had somebody say it to me this way a couple weeks ago. They said, Mike's the kind of guy who, when you work with him, you hear him before you see him, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hasn't been that way lately. And, I think to his credit, like, he's not faking it. Because I do think, like, some people in that situation might fake it.
And that's an excellent point. And if I can just expound on that for a second, when you have something when you're speaking about something that, like your job,
mm-hmm.
but everyone is thinking about something else, and it and they know it.
Yep.
And you put on a facade that nothing's wrong, or you get aggressive and go on the offensive. Terrible idea. That's just advice to everyone. If there's an elephant in the room, acknowledge the elephant in the room, and that's what gets it over with the quickest.
And that's what someone said to me before he had to go before the team, which was the Monday before the draft, and I think I said it to you guys the week before, like, he has to address it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's just, like, you cannot walk in. These guys are 23, 24, 20. You don't think they've been texting to each other about it? You don't think that they've been online and seeing? Of course they have. So, I think just I would say, like, from what I can gather, like, Mike has sort of taken the same sort of common sense approach to this that he seems to take to everything, which is, of course I'm going to address it. Like, everyone's talking about it. And I would be insulting my players' intelligence if I got up there and just talked about them lifting and running and meeting. So I don't think he's been quite the same. And I've said this a few times too. Like, I do think the Patriots' priority should be, Mike, look, you've got a lot going on. And when we get to training camp, we want to have 100% of you back.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you got to do to get there, we have, what is it? I think, two former head coaches who were head coaches for multiple teams on our coaching staff, and Josh McDaniels and Doug Marrone. You got Terrell Williams, who, is the assistant head coach and has been, has actually been a head coach in spots for Vrabel. Vrabel's let him take that. You have an experienced coaching staff with guys who have done it before. So you do have some leeway here in the spring when this stuff is important, but it's not like it is during training camp or the season. So, if I were the Crafts right now, the way I would approach it is I would say, look, whatever we got to do to get like the old Mike Vrabel back, we understand you can't be that now. You're going through a lot. Whatever you got to do to get there, like, we support you. And not that he's a victim or anything, because I don't want to make it sound like that, but like, do what you got to do.
Well, you're having a personal crisis,
right?
And when you're going through that, it's best for everyone to deal with it, including weekend retreats for the Catholic Church that has been speculated that he's
I think
doing.
I heard you guys talking about pre-Cana yesterday. I did my pre-Cana in Waltham. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
So, right here in Waltham.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you learn a lot?
Oh, yeah, it was a spiritual weekend. I think we went, if I remember right, we went on a Friday afternoon. We didn't have to stay over, but we went on a Friday afternoon and then through a full day, had to come back Saturday. And then I think we were supposed to have it on Sunday, but they called that off. So we all got out early.
It was a day of mercy.
I think that the harder thing was like going through it with the priest at our church, which we got married at Our Lady of Victory in Bay Village.
It's pretty arrogant of you.
Why?
Our Lady of Victory.
Our Lady of Victory.
Like you were going to have so much success.
But
Our Lady of Victory. Pray for us.
I still remember the priest realizing when he was going through our paperwork that me and Emily had the same address, and then
Well, I don't like
sinner.
And then actually suggesting that we separate for the months leading up to the wedding.
You should have.
Which would have been very practical.
You could have parked more easily. Were you in the north end at the time?
We were in Back Bay.
Let's see how much you've learned from pre-Cana. When's Emily's period? Yeah, see? Doesn't really know.
Failure.
You lost it. Wasn't that a big part?
We're like 7 minutes into my spot here.
And by the way, had you tried to bluff your way through it, Fred has the answer.
Yes, I called Emily earlier because I knew you were going to bring this up. But that's a big part of it, right? Like not getting them pregnant. Maybe that was Sunday and you weren't there.
Maybe that was what they canceled.
Well, it's the method of birth control.
The rhythm method.
Is that what they call it? Like it's a method of birth control.
Biological rhythms.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So your ignorance of that makes me think that you did not take pre-Cana seriously. All right, so you came in here with a head full of steam, but we've agreed that you'll talk about this on the air. It's not a big deal. So there was you got to start from the beginning. So there was a Diana Rossini story in the past that does not involve love. What was this?
I think this kind of illustrates the absurdity of where we've gotten now with this whole thing. So obviously on the Vrabel side, there's people being followed through airports and all that craziness. And I mean, it looked like, I don't know if you guys watched the show Cheaters back in the day, but you guys remember Joey Greco, how he used to?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Cheaters was all right.
Yeah, Cheaters was an interesting show.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. So I thought that was like Joey Greco style journalism you saw there in the airport. And then there was the story a few weeks ago about how, Diana came into this car accident and helped pull these people out of the car.
Which we missed entirely. This was only 2 weeks ago. The accident reportedly took place on Wednesday, April 15th.
Yeah, and so it was that, she saw an accident happen, got out of her car, helped the people out of the wreckage. There was a Jeep that was turned upside down. And now somebody's coming out and saying that, no, it was actually her husband that pulled so there's dispute. I mean, it's just kind of gotten to this level of absurdity, people are disputing that she was actually the hero in the accident and saying her husband was, and she was just standing there with a dog. And it's and I think that's sort of, honestly, I think the reality of it is this is where pushing back so hard initially.
Yes, it's 100%, and that's why I feel comfortable mocking it, and I think it's kind of funny because whatever with the affair, that's their own business, and and who cares? In terms of the way it affects your personal life or way it affects something that you like. It's whatever. If having an affair in professional sports was a fireable offense, then there would be one person John Kitna would be working. that like one guy who split the Lions locker room by religious affiliation. It is not good news. That's what my friend told me.
Yeah, and the kid in the family had some other issues that if you
that's not a surprise. I don't know what they are, but it's not shocking. So when you deny something like this and you deny it in an arrogant fashion, what it does is it gets people to dig in, and then once they find out that you were lying, they want to know what else you were lying about, and it becomes and let's face it, it becomes interesting. And I don't even think this is an internet thing. Like, I think if this would have happened pre-internet, it still would have been interesting.
Well, I think it's part of it's like a calling a reporter out thing, because there's nothing worse than you can put on a reporter than saying that, like, no, you're wrong. And it's not being wrong about an opinion, it's being wrong about facts. And I said this last week to the guys in here, and like, I remember covering the Aaron Hernandez thing when he fell in the draft. And I did a story for the Globe and like on why he fell in the draft, to explain why he was still available in the 4th round. And I think of the story I had, I have sources from 3 teams telling me that he failed multiple drug tests at the University of Florida, which contributed to his fall. So then the Patriots came out, and Aaron came out and said, no, it was only one failed drug test, which was basically calling me out. Right. So I'm like, okay. So I wrote the story that they were denying it. And in like the 3rd paragraph of the story, the Globe reported last week that we had sources from 3 teams that said they failed multiple drug tests. Now the Globe has sources from 7 teams saying that they failed multiple drug tests.
Right.
And it was, to me, like, that's a good example of, like, you want to challenge me like that? You want to call me out like that? Like, okay, like, we'll see how this goes then. And like, I think that that's the way any reporter would take it. So, when you're calling out the New York Post like that, how do you think they're going to react? Like, okay. No, they're not going to react like that. If they have the story and you're calling them out and saying it's laughable, like, this is the result of it. You've basically, sick them on you.
Well, I mean, listen, I've been over this a million times. It's just common sense, is that if you were that indignant and outraged, you would be... It's actually kind of easily explainable. If you were with 2 groups of people, you met up, same circles, around the same age, the 4 other people that weren't us running off doing drugs or doing whatever they're doing. You don't even have to say that. They went out to party, and we were the 2 married people. So we sat in a hot tub. We know each other. We hugged. You're making a big deal about it, but I would argue that this is far more pure than doing cocaine and staying up till 4 a.m. at a bar between a reporter and a coach, or a reporter and a player. Like, these stories from the 70s that are, these, blunt and stuff from the 3 Bricks Shy of a Load. These, like, stories that have become these wonderful tales of debauchery between reporters and players. And this was like pretty much as wholesome as we could have been. We're at a resort, I'm there for the day. What do you want me to do? Like wear a chastity belt and like sit in? I mean, it was easily explained, and it was easily to get indignant about. And from Rossini's perspective, it was an opportunity to go, you're just doing this because I'm a woman. Like, you're just doing this because I had a bathing suit on. And I have every right, if I'm staying at a resort, to wear a bathing suit. And who the hell are you? And I can talk to men, and men and women can be friends. I mean, there's a million ways to get out of it. Just being at that resort and interlocking fingers, like, whatever. It's like an intimate thing. But I covered the guy. We became friends. I'd hate to tell you that we became friends. I have a professional relationship, but we're friendly. And if you're going to call out reporters for being friends with people, that's asinine, because that's how we do business. And, like, I like the guy. Like, I personally like Mike Vrabel as a friend. We're both married. How dare you? There you go. Just being there is not an issue. But then again, if the pictures come out and people are saying things, you say nothing, and, but you certainly don't aggressively deny it without it being true. You got caught. You just got caught, and when you get caught, you get caught.
I think the saying is, if you're telling the truth, give them everything. If you're telling the truth, give him everything. If you're lying, tell him nothing.
Give him
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I mean, and it's like I don't know. I mean, like it makes me think that I could go into crisis PR because I could do
Well,
a hell. I mean,
and again,
so much of it is just like you said, Fred.
Common sense.
Common sense.
The best
You know what I
liars,
mean?
the best liars provide a few details. The truly best liars provide none.
Right.
You don't give them anything.
Don't treat
Nothing.
people like idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just but now if I'm Vrabel, which I'm sure he's feeling, I'm very concerned about Rossini because she did pay a big price for this. And, to rejuvenate her career is not going to be obviously in an insider role breaking football news anymore. But she's pretty famous right now. And she didn't do anything. She didn't kill anyone.
That would make her more dangerous, though, right? Like that she does. Like if you're
yes,
not,
well, that's what I'm getting to is
Yeah.
that she's not going to be an insider football player anymore. But she's lost a lot, and she's super famous right now. So if she wants to, have a career in media, it's going to be in a different kind of capacity. But she could be even more successful, quite frankly. I mean, it's not like she did anything. She had an extramarital affair. I mean, whatever. And thousands and thousands of famous people have survived worse. But if her role then is like sassy tell-it-all podcaster or television personality, you start doing interviews, you start talking about things. She's got nothing to lose. And just everything she says, even if it's not like anything more than about sex with him, it reignites the story. And you got to figure that's coming. If she forget it, it's not my business if they stay married or not. I just don't know why people don't get divorces. It's really not that bad. It sucks at first, and I know it's scary because you're changing your life completely.
Yep.
But it's worst things in the world.
It could be a happy ending to all of this.
Fred could be like a divorce counselor. Like
my thing is just to women and men is that like it's scary and it sucks, but if you're not happy, it's not the worst thing in the world, and you can maintain a relationship with your former spouse, and if you're mature about it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it sucks. It was terrible. It was no fun. It was scary, but that passes, and it's in a lot of ways the right thing to do in some cases. That's all. I don't people. I just don't know if I would want to be in a relationship with this massive thing hanging over every interaction we
that'd
have.
be hard.
I don't, and I'm coming from the perspective of the person that cheated. Obviously, the victim in this is the spouse that didn't. They're obviously the ones that would have the issue, and they have every right to. It's just
it would just
not
hang
healthy for anyone.
I can't imagine it would hang over everything.
Well, it will hang over everything. I mean, it will hang over everything forever. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't stay married, but I mean, people that have been caught having affairs. I mean, everyone knows someone who's been caught having an affair. It hangs over everything. To this day, every time I see a picture of certain couples that I know, the first thing I think about is that one of them cheated on the other person. I mean, it hangs over everything. I mean, you can stay together, but I mean, I don't know. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Real quick, before we get into the draft, the Patriots are getting A.J. Brown, correct?
I think so.
Adjust your mic a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. My sense is that they are down the road on talking about it. Now, there are a couple reasons why you wouldn't push that deal to the point where it's like, we've agreed to terms. Number one is, and this is sort of past now, but like there would be the possibility that something happens in the draft, like some sort of opportunity comes to the Patriots in the draft where it's, all right, like we didn't expect this player to be available. We can get this player in a rookie contract. We'd rather do that than A.J. Brown. For the Eagles, it's basically over the next 4 weeks, someone could have an injury in OTA. Something weird could happen with another contender.
Well, they just loaded up. They signed 3 guys and jumped up to draft a guy.
I'm not saying they're not trading A.J. Brown. I'm saying for another team.
Okay.
Like another team could lose their number one receiver and get desperate.
Okay.
And now all of a sudden, where you didn't have competition for A.J. Brown, you do have competition for A.J. Brown. So look, like I think everybody should be reading into what's happened, which is the Patriots drafted 0 receivers. Yeah. The Eagles traded for Dontavian Wicks, signed Hollywood Brown, signed Elijah Moore, traded up for Mekhi Lemon. 100%, yeah, 100% the Eagles are preparing to trade A.J. Brown. I think the reason, if you're the Eagles, you wait and say, okay, we're going to do this June 1st is because someone could have an injury.
Right.
Someone could blow out an ACL. Something could happen somewhere else where there's some desperate team that enters into the equation.
Chad Graff wrote yesterday he thinks the likely compensation is a 2028 first-round draft pick or a second-round draft pick next year plus Kayshon Boutte or another similar player.
Those 2027 first-rounders are like gold right now.
Have you heard something similar to that?
I mean, I think the conversation between teams and the Eagles has had to be creative, and so I think the idea of a 2028 first round pick has come up in talks prior to this. And I would say if you look at the Eagles' history, they've been willing to do this sort of thing before. Like they just had a third round pick that was in the 26th draft that was a result of the Hassan Reddick trade with the Jets. Like whatever that was, like almost 2 years ago, right? So they've been willing to trade off into the future. The reason why is Howie Roseman has a job security to do it. Most GMs don't, right? Like, so, okay, like you don't want to give me this pick this coming year, give it to me next year, right? So there's that. And then there's also, if you look at the history of Howie coming out, looking like the winner in these trades is the Carson Wentz trade, where Carson Wentz, they traded him for a 2 that could become a 1, based on playtime incentives. And now that we're back past the draft, if you are including picks, you can put conditions on any of them because you do this before the draft. They involve 26 picks. Then those picks can't be subject to conditions. There's no games between then and the draft. Mm-hmm. Now there can be conditions on any pick you send.
I guess Elijah Moore was a big problem as a young player. That's all coming out now. Doing flips in the end zone and stuff. Not a big failure. All right. Ty Simpson got drafted by the Rams. That was a big shock. What was the thinking there? And what are you hearing around the league as a reaction from other teams?
Sure. I think there are a couple things here. Number one, they viewed him, I think, a little differently than other teams did. And I know the way that McVay and his coaches, and he has some former quarterbacks on his staff now too, and Dave Ragone and Nate Shielhaas and Cliff Kingsbury. And so, they have looked at this and said, here's a guy who is doing NFL things. He's doing the things that we're going to ask him to do as a college player. So we see him as a rhythm and timing passer. The gold standard for that sort of quarterback is Drew Brees. We think that he can, in time, do some of those things, and we've got the luxury to sit him. And when are we going to be drafting this high again? Remember, that's not their pick. The 13th pick was the Falcons' pick that they got last year. And I know people have said, well, they could have Mekhi Lemon, or they could have. So they already used the other first-round pick in a real win-now move and going and getting Trent McDuffie. The other thing that I think people aren't paying enough attention to, that they should, is this now frees them up where they can move some of those future picks now because they don't have to worry about replacing Stafford. So if you're talking about packaging 27, 28 picks between now and the trade deadline, you can do it. And so they can be aggressive, with whatever opportunity comes their way in the next month, in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months. And
how long do you think Stafford plays? He's 38.
I think he's very year to year now. I think it's hard to answer that because I think there are people around him that would have said he'd be done by now. And I honestly think it sounds like a cop-out answer, but I think it just is based on how he feels physically. Like, he's been pretty beat up. He had the elbow issue, the back issue. And so, I think like he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He can still play at a really high level. And I think it's very much a year-to-year thing now, which is part of why the Rams were in that window where it's like, if we see the right quarterback, then maybe we should act.
Okay, and I think you kind of answered it, but when you talk about being able to package up things to get something else, because that is the obvious pushback, why wouldn't you get something to help Matthew Stafford right now as opposed to drafting his replacement, which could be years away? Are they still in a position to package something to get Stafford more help now?
Yeah, I would stay tuned on that. I think that honestly, it's something they've done in the past. I mean, look, in 2019 they traded for Jalen Ramsey at the trade deadline, I think, right? So, I look at their roster and you see a lot of rising young talent, and then you have some older guys like Stafford and like Devontae Adams that are still there. But I think they're positioned well where, you look at, again, Puka Nacua, if he can get his house in order. You look at, Kyron Williams, still a young player. On the defensive side of the ball, Jared Verse and Byron Young and Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk and now bringing in McDuffie and Watson. And so, they don't have a lot of holes, So if I had to pick a team to win the Super Bowl right now, it might be them. I think they're in really good shape.
It's interesting that you mentioned that about Nacua, too, because
he's got some stuff to straighten out.
And how problematic is that going to be for him and the Rams?
I mean, I think it's one of those things for him where, you see where I think he's a good-hearted kid who has gone through a lot in his personal life, and he's great when they have him between the lines in the building, all of that stuff. But it's a 24-year-old kid who, had everything that he wanted in Los Angeles. And for pro athletes in Los Angeles, Miami, Las Vegas, the guys who play in those cities, I think when you're that age and you become a star that quickly, it takes maturity that I certainly didn't have when I was that age to handle all of that. You hear the Dolphins always talk about that, right? People who've worked for the Dolphins say, we got to be careful about who we draft here because not everybody can handle that. Having that access to that, it's right there in front of you every day,
drugs and partying,
all that stuff. Yeah. And I think Nacua kind of became victim to that, where it was. And so now we'll see if he can sort it out. But obviously he's a great player.
So the idea is if there's almost a celebrity party culture instilled, because it's not certainly getting laid, because that can be done anywhere.
No, that can be done anywhere. But it's not I can go out on a Friday night and get laid. It's all that stuff that's available on a Friday night in Boston is available on a Monday and a Tuesday night in Miami.
There's also that VIP culture of extreme access that only exists in places with celebrities, a lot. So New York, in LA, and in Miami.
Well,
is Vegas like that, Hardy?
So Vegas is that was if you guys remember,
Eddie Trunk's there.
So this is the thing that I would say about Vegas, and I think you can probably make something similar. A similar statement about LA and Miami, where that type of behavior is not always, and what I said about in Vegas was it's not only allowed, it's encouraged.
Yeah.
And I would say about Miami and LA, that lifestyle is not only available, but it's encouraged. You see everyone, no, this is how you live when you're here. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
That's a good point.
I would say there are examples of it in Vegas. The Raiders got there in 2020. Henry Ruggs
Yeah.
Damon Arnett. Like, these are first-round picks that were almost immediately getting in trouble because you had these, like, Ruggs was, like, seen as, like, a high-character guy, and he winds up in that awful car accident. And Damon Arnett was, like not a great guy at Ohio State, but he cleaned it up for a year, and it was like, oh, well, like, maybe he's turned his life around, and then you put him in that environment.
What did he do? I know Ruggs got in the DUI, which could have kind of happened anywhere.
I mean, but Arnett was like a legit train wreck, like drugs, guns. Like, if you Google his name, like, he was a first-round pick.
That's more of a Vegas thing, I would assume, than the DUI.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I think there are already examples of it in Vegas where it is just right. I've talked to general manager, like guys who've been the general managers or high-end personnel people working for the Dolphins, and they'll all say that. It's like we have to be careful about who we draft here because there's just so much access.
Right. And Hardy's right. It's behavior that's encouraged.
Yeah,
and if you have a certain amount of money that you have this access and you
want drugs, sex, you want like a party lifestyle. Yes, you can do that in Boston. You can do that in Green Bay, but you're going to get all types of people. How dare you?
I don't even know.
Tisk.
I don't know how much this was out there, but like Belichick, like when he was here, would not allow
banged much older women.
Belichick would not allow young players to live in Boston. Like, they weren't allowed to live in the city. And some of them, and like there were very few guys. Like when I was covering the team that actually lived in Boston. Now Brady did, but not initially.
Right.
Welker did. Junior Seau, when he came here, he did.
Well, Seau is a special case.
But there weren't. But if you look, I remember Belichick very much discouraged / disallowed when young guys came in here. You were not to live in the city, and I think that's a huge reason why was like if we give them less access to everything, and that's in Boston. You know what I mean? Like, so this is like on those teams.
So as close
because you have all these guys who get money for the first time.
They weren't allowed to get
seduced by academia.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to get closer than Marina Bay. That was like the de facto.
Like that's where the line was.
Brady was Marina Bay.
Yeah. But I think Ty Law sold his place in Marina Bay to Brady.
Which
that right?
was Scott Zolak's. I think Zoe sold to Ty Law and Ty Law sold to Brady.
That sounds right.
How about that?
That sounds right.
So Zoe was a big. So Zoe must have been a big Waterworks guy then. You guys remember Waterworks?
Yes.
Water Sports.
When I first moved here, that was the big thing.
Waterworks, yeah.
Beachcomber and Waterworks. Waterworks was the place on the beach, right? Like on the sand.
Yeah.
That was because Crash moved there for a while because that was.
He did. But he liked the Beachcomber. That was his spot.
Yes, absolutely his
sand.
But that was like the. That was his like little Buffett fantasy of his Boston Buffett fantasy. Oh, did his ex-wife hate it here? Oh, Hachi Machi.
Waterworks was Waterworks. I remember was a good place to get into a fight. There'd be there's like a sort of a Jersey Shore vibe there.
Oh, what are you talking? How dare you? No similarities. It's so far away from one another. All right, Bert. Thank you so much. We'll let you go because we'll talk about the Celtics a little bit heading into 8:00. As they lost last night. Bert from MMQB, read him. He's all over the place. Something he said about Rossini today will go at least semi-viral.
Please don't clip it, guys.
But we'll get no credit for it because we're just always the victim. All right. Thanks, Bert. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics are
Did you excuse Bert early? Did I miss that part?
Yeah.
Oh, has he got something to do?
No, we're going to talk about the Celtics for a minute.
He
'cause
mentioned
we're going
that
into a bit.
maybe 3 times in the last 40 minutes.
Thank you.
I was paying attention to what Bert was saying, not what Fred was saying.
Interesting.
That's an interesting tact.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bert. See? Leading us
Don't
into
come
the
in here
next
and
segment.
disparage the local teams like that.
A bonus basketball take from
You're going to get a
Albert.
call, Bert. Be careful.
No, I just thought that.
Thank you, Bert.
I thought that since we're going to have some fun at 8 and then Cedric's going to be on at 8:20, in fairness to our audience, since we are the home of the Celtics, that maybe it would be good to reference the game last night.
Yeah.
Again, Philadelphia, which if you bet on there being a Game 7, if that was possible, which I'm sure it was, I would take it you've made a lot of money.
Tatum talking about Game 7s.
Just to respond. Each series takes on a life of its own. It's ups and downs. And, now we to the final game where, it's win or go home. And obviously that's understood. And a lot of us have been in this situation before, Game 7. So it should be a fun one.
Yeah, like the one against Miami.
Yeah, that didn't go well. Tatum, by the way, left early with a calf problem in the third quarter and did not return. He said afterwards that his leg felt stiff.
I probably saw it when I went to the back, saw me on the bike. My leg just was a little stiff when I came out third quarter, but, just kind of assessing the moment. Like, game was a little out of reach. We took the starters out and, let the bench guys go in.
He loves that bike. He's on that. If you go to games, he's on that bike all the time.
They're fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't move.
But it makes my balls and penis fall asleep, which I've heard can be permanent. That cannot go away. It's the most disturbing feeling in the world. It's like a phantom limb. You literally have. It's not numb, like tingly. It's like dead, like no feeling. Oh no, and it's bad. It would be bad for any appendage. Your penis. It's like a whole situation.
Yeah.
But I can't really ride a bike like that. Well, I'm afraid of driving a bike on the streets. I wouldn't like that. I mean, you give me a cool track, maybe I'll zoom around.
But this one doesn't move.
Yeah, but the thing is with these is it's something about it pushing against your taint restricts blood
That's a
flow.
problem. Yeah.
I don't know how people avoid that, and I know they'll say that they wear pads and things like that, but I've tried. COVID, of course, we got a Peloton because it was in Newton. It was a part of the law.
Yeah,
it was
a requirement.
Extra housing tax if you didn't get a Peloton. So we got a Peloton, and I obviously, like an idiot, tried it, and you have to buy shoes for it, so I did that.
Oh, you get the clip-in shoes. Oh, those are cool.
Yes, you have to.
Yeah.
You can't ride it really, I guess, without clip-in shoes.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't figure out forever, but you put clip-in shoes, and then I would ride that thing, and then 4 out of 5 times my balls would fall asleep.
I won't ask you who got it in the divorce. I will only ask whose laundry is hanging from it now.
Oh yeah, it lies at the 3rd floor of my old house and untouched.
Dust on it.
Untouched. Sure. I mean, I remember one time I wrote it until I puked. I think my ex-wife wrote it one time until she puked. That was the kind of stuff you did during COVID when you weren't drinking.
Yeah.
Is you just let's see if I could do the hardest Peloton thing, and it's like
what else could make me puke?
Yeah, exactly. Let's try the hardest Peloton thing just to see. Oh, turns out I can't do it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But what if I really pushed myself? Oh, you'll vomit. Oh.
I bet the P90X people are thinking, God, we were just a few years too early. If we had
they would have cleaned up.
Peaked during COVID. Oh my God.
Well, I had a friend who worked for a company that was in some way associated to the sales of Peloton. He works in Atlanta and New York.
Yeah.
He's the guy who had the sublet his place to a guy, or didn't sublet. He leased his place to a guy who turned out making very aggressive gay porn. And he was like, COVID hit, and they started making moves that we were like, this is not sustainable unless this goes on forever. This is you are planning as if this gold rush is going to last forever. And strangely enough,
it's going to be a Peloton world.
I think I knew when the instructors became stars that maybe this is not going to last forever. That the people that are teaching stationary bike classes are not going to be famous forever.
Right. When satellite radio had a Peloton channel for a minute, I said, "Ooh, that's a bad sign." Yeah, that's
right.
But at least they can maneuver out of that immediately. Like,
Not a lot of big
but it's
intake
just
on that.
it's a bad sign for this thing has a definite crest and it's going to fall really, really fast.
Well, you know what's back, and I don't know if your kids have experienced this. I'm glad we got to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Is hacky sacks.
Oh God,
we were hacking the sack in the back room 2 days ago.
One of my kids came up to me 3 weeks ago. Have you ever tried hacky sack? And I said, absolutely not. He said, my friends and I play it all the time now. And I'd never heard of anyone using a hacky sack for the last 20, 30 years.
And
then all of a sudden, there it is.
It brought me back to a project which has been in development now for a long, long time. But there is a 3-on-3 basketball tournament in Michigan and other states known as the Gus Macker. And this is a big deal. And in college, me and a couple of other aspiring artists thought, what if we turn this on its head and we turned it into the Gus Hacker? And we had a film idea where these young upstart hacky sackers were going to try and qualify for the Gus Hacker.
Oh.
And there was a love interest, and there were a couple of different obstacles they had to overcome. There was conflict, there was resolution. I'm still kicking around some plot ideas.
No pun intended.
Well done. But if it's coming back, maybe now's the time.
Yeah, strike. If you can get it done in the next couple weeks, that might be a good idea.
Just before the fad disappears.
Because I had a hacky sack, and it's probably as soon as I bought it, no one did it anymore. I was a little late. But it was very 80s. It was pink in like a very neon green. Like my GT Performer was like a light purple. Like it was all show, white pegs, clean.
Pegs.
I know. I was a fancy boy freestyler where you were a down and dirty BMXer.
That's right. You and your Miami Hopper.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds disparaging. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll have a little fun, and then we'll have Cedric Maxwell on in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy.
This was a huge hit when I first started in commercial radio.
I still remember the halftime show is one of the Patriots Super Bowls.
No, it
and
was
that guy flying.
No, that was Thanksgiving,
Right,
and
so
that
that was Thanksgiving?
That
Dallas.
was Dallas at Thanksgiving, and you're referring to when Creed performed, and they had these acrobats, in quotations, that they had big streams of satin or something, linen, flowing from the top of wherever the hell the Cowboys played back then. And these guys would wrap themselves in the linen, and they'd be lifted almost 4 feet off the ground. It was so beautiful and daring. It was really a miss. We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Go to 98.5, the Sports Hub on YouTube. Eddie Trunk, yes. Eddie Trunk, again. If you ever wondered what guys that dropped out of high school are doing now in 1983 are doing now, is they're calling it the Eddie Trunk's show.
Yeah.
This is kids that couldn't quite hack high school, but in a good way. This is heavy metal parking lot grown up.
Oh, okay.
Eddie Trunk is a man who has a international radio show heard on Sirius XM during afternoon drive from 3 to 5 that focuses, in its own words, completely on hard rock and heavy metal, and in reality, that music recorded between 1975 and 1985.
Dio, Sabbath, Rainbow.
Now, Adam, this isn't for the air, but for your own pleasure. If you want to listen to an old Eddie Trunk show, you can listen to yesterday. Phil Mogg from UFO, the singer from UFO, was on.
Oh, that's Eddie's favorite album is a UFO album.
His favorite band is UFO,
yes.
stupid.
Oh, sorry, his favorite song is a UFO
in studio
song.
or on the phone?
On the phone. He was calling in probably from parts unknown.
Studio.
But he asked him, he said, you wrote one of the greatest songs of all time. And he's like, tell me about it. That was really the question. And he's like,
talk about it.
And he's like, I say, crime book. And he goes, wow. But that guitar going into the bridge. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Well, you bring it.
You know what I'll be listening to this weekend? Phenomenal.
It was good.
You bring up Eddie Trunk in connection with Creed, because Creed has been doing something that I was unaware of. The Summer of '99 and Beyond cruise. Now, they have done this 4 times before, sold out all 4 times.
Okay.
Such a success. They are bringing it back again. And the 2027 edition lineup has been announced for the cruise that will set sail from Miami.
Hosted by Eddie Trunk.
April 17th, 2027. They will visit Grand Stirrup Cay, Bahamas, and then return to Florida on the 21st. So,
one stop.
Yeah. And it's just, we're going to go there and come back.
Yeah. We're gonna go out there, get you spread your hepatitis onto the island.
Yeah, it's not so much a cruise as it is
a chance
straight there, straight back.
Well, it's a cruise, it's more of an opportunity to spread virus.
Creed will perform 2 headline sets
to a sea of fat people,
and will feature hosts Eddie Trunk and DJ Rock Feed.
Yeah, Rock Feed and Trunk are kind of like the Abbott and Costello of the 90s cruise circuit.
In addition to band performances, the ship will include artist experiences, Q&A sessions, immersive activities, and more.
Yeah, they
immersive activities.
Yes.
What might those be?
The spelling bee.
Okay. What immersive activities did you have on your cruise there, Hardy?
You get to fillet Scott Stapp, like the video with Kid Rock.
I think
now he rides in Tomahawk helicopters.
Okay.
I think every one of these cruises has like a wine tasting. So the band Sponge did the wine tasting, and we had some fun with that. When I was doing the Q&A with them, they call them the behind the music. I think they actually bought the name or have rights to call.
Thank God.
Behind the music. Yeah. In the TRL Lounge. But that was 90s cruise. Summer of '99 and Beyond cruise with Creed. There are, of course, other bands on the cruise. So, gentlemen, instead of just guessing what bands will be on there, because you'd probably be able to get a few of them, I will give you hints in the form of album reviews from those bands.
All right.
All right.
Very good.
So I will just read to you word for word a review from an album. And then you have to determine what band this is, and that is a band that will be on the Creed cruise. Are you ready?
I am.
We'll start with this one from 2002. What makes this LP so interesting is its shortcomings. In spite of...
Any band.
In spite of Blank's IQ falling short next to Tool's first two masterpieces, there's a big nod of respect to those two albums and a fair chunk of influence from the band. The album's sound is a decent grunge-type production and an obvious choice since Nirvana is another huge influence here.
Oh, okay, 99 and beyond. Oh, what band sounded just like Tool?
And I will and I will tell you this, the name of the band is an alliteration.
Oh, John, I've never UFO. No, I'm not going to get it. Well, go ahead.
You threw Fred off. I say his brain was going to Chevelle because you thought of the band that sounds like Tool, and that is Chevelle, but it is not Chevelle.
Two-word band name, alliterative band name.
Explain.
Polly Pissy Pants is alliterative.
Same first letter.
Yeah.
No, I knew that. Okay, same first letter and band name.
First letter B.
Breaking Benjamin.
There we go. Wow.
So no one else. John is reacting much like the audience is reacting in that, like, what's going on here? You have to understand that this is just for Adam Hardy and I, because we all were on radio from 99 and beyond.
Okay.
And so these are bands that, John, you'll have never heard of and probably never heard the music of, but we'll let you know that we were forced to play them. And I'll tell you, as many radio stations as you listen to, I bet you could find about 1% like these bands of the people playing the music.
Oh, these bands are alive and well on the rock radio stations in New Hampshire right now. Absolutely, yes.
I'll tell you, the writers in New Hampshire and Maine, according to my Google alerts, very cruel to me.
Really?
Oh, they do not like me.
Why don't they like you?
I'm an a-hole.
Oh, well, is it anything in specific, or you just are?
It's not the greatest writing. Like, I'm being dead honest. Like, there's not like a real point. It's just kind of like I'm a dick.
How they even know about you? The syndication deal was done like years ago.
I think that we planted our flag.
We're not on in Portland anymore.
There's the internet, dude. I mean, we had huge ratings in Portland. I'd like to have to go up there and do free appearances for my $50 a month.
Now, Fred, you should be able to get this one. All right, that's the only hint I'm going to give you. Okay. The first album really wasn't that good in retrospect, but through hard touring, the band eventually rang up a gold record in the States. Blank, by comparison, is the great leap forward, slamming with confidence into complicated rhythm riffery that vaguely owes something to industrial grunge and the Korn sound, while offering enough pure metal madness and sparring but effective melody to make the bundle trundle.
The bundle?
1999... Based on geography, you should be able to get this one.
Oh, they're an Atlanta band. That in the spirit of Korn. An Atlanta band?
An Atlanta band.
A new metal Atlanta band. Oh, Seven Dust.
Oh, very good, Freddie T.
Those guys were awesome.
Yeah, they were really good guys.
Yeah, like I got nothing to say bad about them. And they're not a bad band. I mean, like, whatever. It's not my cup of tea. But they were awesome. In fact, Johnny Colt from Black Crowes, the drummer of Seven Dust, came in one day with a dossier of stories because I was so out of control at night, making fun of all the bands, that these guys, like, I became like a bit of a thing with these like whatever local bands, and these guys just had these stories that they wanted to tell about how much they hated other bands and things that they had done. It was really fun.
That band was
Be careful of wanting success, relative success, because it's not anywhere near as fun as when there's no stakes.
Yeah, and you're right. That band, they were awesome.
Yeah, they were great. I got nothing bad to say about Seven Dust.
All right, so this one is something that we should all get based on the number of albums these guys have sold and continue to sell, and they're big. They might be able to do a cruise on their own. What makes this album so much better than Breaking Benjamins and the Seethers of the world?
I don't like that. Two greats.
I'm not really sure, but in so many ways, blank is just infinitely better than any band you're likely to hear on your local active rock radio station. That's good writing. I don't know. Maybe it's the dynamic songwriting or endless guitar and vocal hooks. Maybe it's Brent Smith's astonishing pipes. Maybe it's this band's desire to just rock without worrying about cred. So I've given you the lead singer's name from this huge band.
Brent Smith.
Brent Smith. I had to play these guys on Turbo every hour, every day for years.
I have a feeling this is a band I never played. I think I might have been out of nights by then.
We played them on BCN.
Oh, we did?
Yep.
It's not Fuel.
I'll give you the song and see if you can.
Okay.
Does it matter?
I wonder why rock radio
Come
died.
on, man.
Yeah.
You're not a real radio guy.
It's all the internet's fault. It wasn't that these bands all sucked
that they
and
pushed
sounded the same.
8 bands that all sounded the same.
Another band on the Creed cruise crashes onto the alt-rock scene like a meteor from the Canadian suburbs. Raw, introspective, and laced with the kind of anthemic hooks that define the post-grunge era. Released amid the tail end of grunge's heyday, captures the 90s zeitgeist. Think flannel-clad existentialism meets radio-friendly riffs while probing deeper into the psyche.
Our Lady Peace?
Freddie T.
Those are another great guys, too. I like them.
I was going to say, he's got to have a good personality to make up for that nails on a chalkboard voice.
I thought Starseed was a great song.
I thought One Man Army's a really good song.
Their songs are all right.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah. Nice.
The guitar player they kicked out of the band fancied himself an astrophysicist, literally. He was a real chore to talk to, off mic. But Rain from Our Lady Peace just was constantly self-flagellating about their lack of success. And I had to tell him, I'm like, you're touring in a bus. Like, hooray, you won.
Yeah.
You're sitting here with
That's
someone...
about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, and you're sitting here with a DJ in Atlanta on a tour, hanging out with me. You know, there's a bunch of guys that can't get out of their basements. I felt like I was often trying to let him know how he always self-flagellating. Good-looking guy. Often I'd caress his thigh, but no, he wouldn't go for it.
Well, there might be good-looking guys in this next band. I have no idea what they look like if they could walk into the studio right now. Welcome the next Oklahoma-bred catastrophe. Until some sort of status is determined, say multi-platinum status, or at least selling out a venue or two, this band should have spent more time on extreme behavior and less on their hair, which is a combination of stolen haircuts dating back further than the styles of Sum 41. Their sound can only be described as semi-rock. Think boy band with liney lyrics meeting the rustic vocals of Nickelback. And it seems the recent heartbreak, combined with past obsessions, sparked the inspiration for the release of this debut in 2005. Another hint, you've already said the name of the band during this segment.
Hinder. And the only reason I know that is because you said I'd already said their name. Hinder was did we play them at BCN?
I don't think we did. I think this was so post butt rock that by this time we had kind of like...
Nick is saying we did, but I think we played Hinder to goof on it.
On your show you played the goof on, but I don't think they were on the playlist.
Yeah,
of the radio
that was like the death knell.
Big AAF band.
Right.
That was like the alt rock's Altamont. That was the death knell.
I'll give you
Rock's Altamont. That's good.
I'll give you one more. Where Nickelback is everything wrong with post-grunge, this band is everything right. They were once the pinnacles of hard rock and post-grunge in the late 90s and early 2000s. Their erratic blend of hard guitar riffs, stylish percussion, and Blank's powerful howl of a voice enraptured the minds of hard rock and alt-rock junkies from Kansas to Mississippi. And I would say well beyond those borders.
Why Kansas to Mississippi?
But I can't say the lead singer's name because this is someone you actually know and someone whom we've discussed many times before. A real conundrum, a real puzzle as to why. everybody played.
Okay, so it's not
Everyone played this band. And we still don't know why.
He mentioned it before?
I think you did.
He did mention this band earlier in the segment.
All right, so who did you mention before?
Hinder.
No.
So
That's right. It's Hinder again.
It's a conundrum that they were famous.
It's an absolute riddle of the universe as to why we all played 2 songs from this band.
I would know the singer's name.
Yes.
Is he famous
Yes.
for music?
And he was on this band was on the 90s cruise too.
And they're heavy?
You like them.
I like the band.
You like them. You like the singles. Yes.
You like one of them.
Is it Stained?
All right. I have a guess, and I don't know the song or who you're talking about, but just based on what he mentioned before, did you mention the band Fuel before?
Oh, Fuel.
I mean, I'm glad we played them. I don't know why we played them on our really much harder sounding radio station in Las Vegas, but they got played everywhere.
Same in Albuquerque.
And just the last thing is that 99X put out a list of the songs that they had played like the most over the 8-year course that the station had been on the air, and Hemorrhage in My Hands was I do not like. But Hemorrhage in My Hands was number 1, and Shimmer had to be in the top 5. So my point has always been not why did we play them, but why are they not famous? Like, why is Limp Bizkit or like Korn still touring and playing festivals, but the band that we played far more than them, that's like even more poppy, it's just kind of disintegrated into nothing and has no value on a nostalgia
It's wrong
circuit.
for me to say it was a puzzle riddle why it was played so much. It did get played everywhere, and it didn't end up having the staying power of Korn and some other bands. And Carl Bell was a great songwriter. I talked to him on that 90s cruise for quite a while. He's a good dude.
The Brett Scallions is dead or something, right?
He's not in the band anymore.
He's a big junkie or something like that.
I don't know.
Just pontificate. Say something libelous.
I believe he's still with us, and I believe there were some throat problems. He had trouble forming sounds in his throat, which tends to happen, as I've said. The cocaine is a numbing agent.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Our friend Cedric Maxwell will react to the loss last night.
Toucher and Hardy will be right back.
Philadelphia, baby.
Okay.
If it's not Easy Lover, I don't know what it is.
No, this is Reasons, right, Max?
Johnny Wallach, Johnny Baseball's in town today, baby.
You know, John used to try to get laid so badly through the music.
Never worked.
That song right there would work.
No.
Cedric, if there were...
You got to have game first, Max.
John is telling you that Max, it might have been you, not the music.
Yeah, I think...
Somebody was good. If there was, 1,000 women around, what were you about to say? Somebody was ready to say something about you, Johnny. If there was 1,000 women around, and they were all taking their clothes off, John would be at the coffee machine.
It's like you were there.
I have a feeling, Cedric, if there was 1,000 women and you and John, John would be, or you would be having 1,000-on-1 sex.
All right, Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, thank you very much for that.
Well, I'm not saying you could do it. I'm just saying that the opportunity would avail itself.
We have a lot of Celtics to talk about, Max, but, this is, I think, important to learn from you. Back in the day, if you had to put on an album to listen to during coitus, during the actual act, what album was your go-to?
Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA.
Yeah,
that's not far enough back, Max.
Get him into Vietnam.
USA, I was born.
Yeah, anti-Vietnam song. Good.
I tell you what, I might go with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay, all right.
This album right now, with Reasons, is pretty good. Pretty good standard of setting things up. Unless it was Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On.
Very good. Well, Cedric, let me tell you this. You don't like Philadelphia, I would take it, as you've fought a man for calling you the N-word. So let's get that out of the way. But what's going on? Let's just leave it open. What's going on?
What's going on?
You know what? The Celtics have just not played up to their standards here. And really the biggest thing has been Joel Embiid has really come in and changed the narrative. I thought the Celtics played them well last night. Finally, they fought them off the post. They did a nice job, but Tyrese Maxey got going. Tatum and Brown had too many turnovers. They weren't getting scoring. Other than that, I guess John Wallach would say they were fine. But, here's the thing, that the beauty about all this, about sports, to me, is when you have another day. You have another day of reckoning, and you can erase all these memories and get on to the next. And if you're the Celtics right now, why wouldn't you want it to be like this? Why wouldn't you want to erase these ghosts that people talk about of you playing in your building that you can't close the team out? So I think it's a great opportunity that's going to happen tomorrow night.
Okay, is Missoula getting out coached right now?
I don't think he is. And I talked to Joe about this. We were talking about something. This is more about the players. This is more about execution. You don't turn the basket. Joe Missoula isn't turning the ball over. Joe Missoula isn't rebounding the basketball. This isn't X's and O's right now. This is right at this time in a game. This is more about dare I say it, but I have to. It's about having a set of balls and being able to get out and play and knock people around and do the things that you need to do to get a win. I played against a greater team when I played with dare I say it again, the Los Angeles Fakers. When I played against them, better basketball players. But the Boston Celtics at that time, 1984, were better at really just winning a basketball game and willing it. You're not going to stop a guy like Joe Missoula. So Joe is not even in the game. But you're going to have to stop a guy like Joel Embiid, fight him off the post. And probably the biggest thing that you would look at right now is that Jaylen Brown, who has been exceptional this year, I mean, MVP-like, he has to match the energy of Paul George. Paul George in the last 3 or 4 games has got his number. And Jaylen Brown has to come back and dominate at that position.
Overall, Max, the offense has just looked uncomfortable the last couple of games. Is it just, how do you solve that problem if you're Joe Missoula? What adjustments do you make, or is it just as simple as what you just said?
Some of it is just, I love you, John, because you state the obvious. One is just making shots. You're making shots. Derek White has had a bunch of shots, hasn't made them. Last night, they had too many turnovers. Philly attempted them from the three-point line, which doesn't happen a lot with the Boston Celtics. If your forte is shooting threes, then the other team can't do that more than you. So there are a lot of different things that happened last night in the game, and I hated it. I told the guy we weren't coming back to Philly the other day, and we were there. He comes to my face and laughs at me. It happened to be a Boston person who worked down at the in Philly, but it was just it was disheartening going to Philadelphia to lose a game like that. But again, you have a chance to get those ghosts away by playing in tomorrow night's game.
Are you surprised that Embiid coming back has affected things like this? Because a lot of analysts were saying that the 76ers were better without him.
Hell to the yeah, I am. Joel Embiid came back, and I know there were certain people with the Celtics felt like, yeah, if Joel Embiid comes back, our pick and rolls are going to be much better. We're going to be able to attack him. When Joel Embiid has played a great series here, and what he's done, he's dominated in the paint. He slowed the game down. If the 76ers needed a basket, he was able to do that. He's become a facilitator. So he has really been he's been spot on. I didn't think it would affect this series because of coming off the appendix thing. I didn't think that you could come back and play after having that kind of surgery, because normally they tell you to sit down, don't laugh, don't cough, don't do any of those things. I had a hernia surgery, and that's what they told me for about 2.5 weeks, almost a month. So for Joel Embiid to come back and to play the way he has, that to me has been amazing.
By the way, Skip Bayless will recall, remember he said that the Philadelphia was very angry because Joel Embiid could come back and would not come back. Is there anything that's going to happen, which we, of course, that seemed outrageously untrue.
Yeah.
But is there going to be any blowback to Skip Bayless is the question.
Yeah.
Now Embiid's not only playing, he's playing very well.
Find him first.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that, most people like that kind of dodge and duck and go undercover.
It was just such an odd thing to say. Skip Bayless said that he had heard that from people that Embiid was able to play and wasn't playing just because he didn't want to. He was able to play. It was just such an odd thing to say about someone.
You know what? Some of that, and here's the thing about headlines. Headlines are said sometimes as shock and awe. And then if they don't come true, then it's like, oh, okay, I was just joking, or I was just trying to fire the guy up. But if it had come true, then all of a sudden now you have a story. He's a sports person, and he wants to create a narrative by which he's right.
But that's attacking a guy's professionalism and toughness, though, right? Like, it's kind of different than saying, Missoula's a crappy coach because they rely too much on the three, and then them hitting a million threes and you were wrong. Than saying like a guy's willingly not playing because he's like a pussy, basically.
They've done that all year long, last couple of years with Joel Embiid. Remember when his brother, I think his brother passed away, and some reporter was questioning about his brother, and Joel Embiid jumped up and grabbed the guy and said, "Don't you ask me about that damn brother. Don't you say anything about my family members." And so it's been a love-hate relationship with him down in Philadelphia. He's a great player, a snapshot. He's a Hall of Famer, but he hasn't won. He hasn't won, and this is going to be a big test for him, trying to win a game here in Boston, and with the fans and everything else. I just don't feel like the Celtics are going to lay an egg. This team has played hard. They've been committed, but this is their moment. This is their shining moment tomorrow night. And I've talked to people about it, and I've played in a lot of seventh games, and it comes down at the end of, who wants it more. And whoever has the big balls tomorrow night is going to win that game, and get ready for the Knicks.
John, you'll win any game you play.
That's right.
That's right. God damn it.
Max, Jesus, John.
With those giant testicles.
The shots still have to fall, though. And again, under the umbrella of what's going on, I'm not talking about missed shots. I'm not talking about contested jumpers. I'm talking about from Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown specifically, three-pointers that miss everything. Yeah, these aren't rattling around in the rim. These guys are missing shots in these last two games like I haven't seen them miss all season. What's going on?
I mean, Tatum came off, I think, the first half and shot one wide right. The next play down, about 2 or 3 plays later, came down and shot one wide left. So it doesn't give you confidence coming into that situation when your best players, fumble in that vein. But again, I believe that, and this I've always believed this, that you have another. John Wallach would say this: you have another chance up to bat to erase all these things, and then this is the ugly thing about it. It's gonna start all over again when the Celtics play the Knicks. It's only gonna be worse. So get ready for it. That's what playoff basketball is about.
Derek White has struggled a lot, well, for a lot of the season shooting the basketball, but he saw a few go in last night for a change. Maybe he can springboard off a good performance in Game 7, right?
He's stating the obvious again, John. That's why I love you so much. Yeah, he needs that. He needed to see a couple go in, and he did see a couple shots go in.
I'd rather have the late ones go in, though, Max. I think he made his first 3 and then missed his last 3.
He made 3 shots, all right?
He made
3 of them went in.
3 of 6.
And you have to think that way. And if you're a shooter, you have to think that the next one's going in. I tell you what I saw, and I hope they play him a little bit more, is the physicality of Garza. He was one of the few guys that kind of bumped and just threw his body around against Joel Embiid. You might have to play him a little bit more. I had talked to Kata before the game, and I said, you cannot pick fouls up at half court trying to steal the ball from a guard. Well, and he said, yep, I got it. John, how does that happen with your kids? Go cut that grass. Yep, Dad, I get it done. You come out the next day and like, damn, this grass is it's getting longer right now.
Yeah.
There were things that he needed to do, and Vooch, the bigs have to step up and play a lot more aggressive. Garza has been more effective at being aggressive than any other bigs you had.
What about Vucevic and he can't do anything with Embiid and he's not scoring. Is this a Philadelphia problem or is he not fitting in?
No, I don't think nothing about him not fitting in. Sometimes matchups aren't good.
Right.
You don't have good matchups. That's not a good matchup for him with Joel Embiid. And normally what he's done, he's always played the other forward. But with the Celtics right now, he's playing the center position. Joel Embiid rested is going to give everybody blues. And, coming back the way he's playing right now with confidence, even dancing on the box, the thing that you have to do is just haul off and knock the hell out of that man. And then you turn the tempo of the game. I hate it when a guy, Joel Embiid does one thing which drives me crazy, but I used to do it myself. Every time he shoots and scores, he falls down.
Yeah.
Dude, if he fell down in front of me, I fall on it. You want to fall, I'm going to fall on top of you.
Good, then they could stop the game for 20 minutes while they looked at the video of it.
Well, I tell you what, if you're going to win, sometimes you have to do something that's a little different, a little nasty. And take it from somebody who went in the stands in Philly. A little nasty, a little crazy. And that's how that Martin Lawrence say, I'm crazy. Sometimes a little crazy. I can be a little crazy.
And that is a Martin Lawrence reference, ladies and gentlemen. Gina, wow. Gina and him, a great couple. Thank you, Cedric. We appreciate it so much.
All right. I can't wait to talk to you guys, and you guys to go over this thing on Monday morning. It should be a good one. I can't wait for Mr. Obvious to break this thing down on Monday. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, he's stupid. All right. Thank you.
Love you, Max.
And you didn't mention Sean Grande one time, the whole interview. Thank you, Cedric.
All right, man.
All right, appreciate it. There you go. Our friend Cedric Maxwell. Listen, after this commercial break, we will have tickets to see the Bruins tonight in Game 6.
Nice.
Which is easily forgotten with the Celtics losing, but that is going on tonight. A must-win for the Bruins. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics have now been pushed to a Game 7.
Line 617-931-0985. We'll score a pair of tickets to the Garden tonight as the Bruins take on the Sabres in Game 6 of the NHL playoffs. Come cheer on the Bruins in the 2026 playoff. Tickets are on sale. Bring your family and friends to the TD Garden to be part of this electric postseason. Get your tickets at bostonbruins.com/playoffs. Does the name AJ mean anything to you, Jonathan?
AJ? No. Why?
AJ, hello.
Actually, it does now, yes.
He doesn't even know who you are, you dope.
That hurts. That hurts.
Who are you,
ask
AJ?
Ask him who grinded up his son in one-on-one last weekend.
No, I know who this is.
Begging to play me.
This is my brother-in-law.
Too old.
This is my brother-in-law.
Oh, this is who you spent. This is how you spent your spring break, taking your kid to suburban Philadelphia.
That's correct. My son challenged him to one-on-one and suffered greatly. Yes.
It did not snow in Philly, so that was a bonus for them.
All right. So, AJ, you were calling, I would take it, to give your brother-in-law some grief about what happened last night.
No, I'm not giving him grief. I'm ready for Game 7. It's going to be fun. I don't know if Celtics fans think it's going to be fun because after Game 4, after the Celtics embarrass the Sixers are in the mindset where they're forced to win Game 7. And I know the Celtics they just didn't want to be in Game 7. So I think it's going to be really interesting tomorrow night.
Do you think John an embarrassment to the family, like the AJ?
Is John an embarrassment to the family?
Yes. Do you dislike him? Is he a problem?
I used to, but when they were dating, I did. But after they got married, we accepted them.
Is there some discussion as to why they always drive and they won't just spring for the airfare?
That's a great question that's been discussed behind their backs for years. Yeah, and we don't have an answer. We thought it was because of the dog, but now the dog hasn't been making the trip, so it can't be the dog anymore.
Well,
so
you couldn't board the dog, of course not.
Are there concerns about the family's financial status, and maybe they're just not doing well enough to afford the plane tickets?
I hope not. I mean, if so, then he needs to hire a new agent and redo his contract over there.
Of course, he's got the lowest tier agent. So you mentioned you played one-on-one with his son. Was that to make up for the fact that John took them on their spring break to suburban Philadelphia? You felt like you needed to step in?
Yeah, well, John doesn't. I don't think he can get up and down the floor anymore. So somebody had to teach his son a lesson. Because he's been begging to play me for like 6 months to a year, and finally I said, "All right, I'm bringing the ball. There's a court at the park. Bring your game."
Yeah, well, he needs a male in his life.
Well, I was going to say, does he say to you while they're playing it, "God, I wish my dad could do this. I wish my dad could run around with me"?
No, I don't think he said that. His mom may have said that though.
All right. Well,
oh boy,
AJ, I like
get it
you.
in while you can.
I like you, AJ.
Yeah.
There's no question. Well, AJ, no one would know you're from Philadelphia. I harbor no accent.
No, I'm not from outside Philly. My wife would get upset if I said I'm from Philly because she actually grew up in Philly. So I have to say I'm from outside of Philly.
All right. Well, you got a Philadelphia accent, so you got that going for you.
Tell Lily and I said hi, AJ. Thanks again.
All right, you guys. It was fun listening this morning, and like I said, I think it's going to be a good game tomorrow night, and hopefully I can call back on Monday and gloat a little bit.
All right. Well, that would not be good for us because we are the home of the Celtics.
We need as many Celtic games as we can have.
Let's not have everything end in May.
Oh.
Well, it's fun. But it would be nice to have something going on while we're on.
Yeah, Bruins losing tonight and the Celtics losing tomorrow would not be good for us.
No, we need someone to win something.
Yes,
just one more round. Even if the Celtics lost to the Knicks, at least that gets you through May.
Yeah,
because August football starts again. Now I don't mind when there's not sports because it's kind of fun because you get to dick around even more than we already do. Believe it or not.
No, look selfishly. We need at least one more round, which was not even a consideration. 4 days ago, we had cemented them into the Eastern Conference Final.
Beyond.
It was done. It was a foregone conclusion.
Well, no, we had cemented them in the final.
Yeah. We thought, especially since Detroit is struggling the way they are, that, Detroit's knocked
Yeah,
out.
right.
They should be. I was worried about
that's
the
right.
Knicks.
It was
but-
Celtics OKC. It was predetermined.
Yeah.
Detroit can't beat the Celtics. I'm telling you, this year the Detroit can't beat the Celtics.
Before these last two games, I would have said playoff experience means everything. And that's the reason Orlando, who was there last year, and Detroit, who wasn't. But I just watched Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown play terribly last night in an elimination game. So that's out the window.
But Philadelphia has got Edgecombe and George playing like he's playing Embiid and Maxey. The Pistons have really, when it comes down to it, scoring-wise, Cunningham. And that's it.
Yeah.
And he's not efficient, believe me.
Yeah, they need someone who's not Tobias Harris, who, by the way, has a sprained ankle and is questionable for tonight.
Well, he's their only other scorer, so that's a bit of an issue.
That's the problem. Your other real star is Duran, who is an all-star this year, and he's Robert Williams. He's a great rebounder, good defensive presence, but can't make a shot outside of 3 feet.
Yeah, he's not. He has an inability to score. He can't shoot, so that's a big problem. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, someone's got to win tonight or tomorrow. That's for sure.
Well,
either team.
I think we should spend a little bit of time on the Bruins. No?
All right, sure. If you got something to say, we just had your brother-in-law on. If you want to make a big fuss, make it all about yourself.
Okay.
I thought AJ was going to suck at first because he was babbling on about the 76ers in an incoherent way, and then he started making fun of you. Got very focused.
Yeah. He was starting to talk about how tomorrow night is a must-win, and I'm like, okay, what do you think?
No kidding.
Yeah.
But then he started making fun of you. He became very focused, and I enjoyed that. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right.
I know. No, you don't know.
Everyone agrees that I'm the only one who's not wrong.
Right or wrong, they're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports
Yeah, I'll
Hub.
play this tonight. So, like I said, every series is different. Game 7, so going back to home and gotta get a W.
I take it that's Peyton Pritchard. You can tell that he's from Oregon. We are, or wherever the hell he's from. We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube, 98.5. Or just subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. We can do a bit of a potpourri now. I have something Patriots related that won't dominate the segment, and obviously the Celtics lost last night in Game 7 is tomorrow, and John insists on this, talking about the Bruins, which I don't have a problem with. But I do want to start with this. The Athletic has an interesting article, and it's post-draft, but it's not grading drafts or anything like that. What they did is they talked to front office people around the league about the various teams' drafts and how that affects the outcome of, in their opinion, for next season. And I will start reading you the first front office person's take on the Patriots post-draft. They overachieved last season against a historically easy schedule. Vrabel wins Coach of the Year. They beat a backup quarterback on the road and go to the Super Bowl. They got demolished in the Super Bowl, but everyone comes out of there feeling like they got the coach and the quarterback, and they're ahead of things. But now they play a first-place schedule. They play the NFC North. Buffalo could be better, and they're bound to make some coaching-related mistakes, which naturally occur. And now people are saying the coach is not all in. He's not focused. This took a toll. The exec said, well, while that may or not be true, that's going to be the perception, so it's really going to be tough for him this year, which is true. I don't know if they're going to struggle on the field, but if they do, I mean, we all know their schedule was historically bad last year. We all know their schedule is really difficult this year.
Yeah, what did that guy say that was wrong?
No, yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, if they do, the chances of them winning as many games this year as last year is very small. The chances of them going to the Super Bowl last year were even smaller, so anything can happen. So I'm not killing the team in May after they made the Super Bowl. But my point is this, is if they start to lose a little bit, even if they end up winning like 11 games, if they start losing a little bit in there and they lose like 2 in a row, all the attention, what's unfortunate about this for Vrabel, because it really only affects him, is that all the focus is going to be on you are not winning because of the fallout of your affair.
That's true, but I mean, they are going to lose a little. They're going to lose back-to-back games this year. It's going to happen.
But we also said that they were not going to make the playoffs, and we were very certain about a lot of things. I want to be careful about how certain I am about things going into next season.
All right, so it depends on a couple of things. Number one, if this story manages to evolve at all, or there's anything else over the next few months. And if there's even just a thing or two here or there, then yeah, that's going to be on the table. I think it also depends on, if they lose, how they lose. Is it defensive breakdowns? Is it things that we would look to Mike Vrabel for? It's like, well, that's more on him.
Mental errors.
Than Drake May having a setback season. Is it obvious coaching decisions that he's making? It's like, oh, well, the guy's head's not in it, obviously. But if they're just going up against better teams, Fred, and they don't have the weapons again, and there's a chance they may not have enough weapon-wise. I mean, the roster's not complete yet. If it happens that way, yeah, there'll be a couple of voices talking about how he was distracted for a portion of this year, but it won't be as bad as it would be if there are things that you can directly point to and say, well, this story just popped again, and now he's got this, and now look at, his head's not in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would depend a lot on how the games are being lost.
But that's a level of analysis that I just don't think is going to take place. I mean, you're being logical.
Well, not in your head, but from me, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah,
to think for you.
Sometimes you overthink, though. You're too involved in the all-22. And then they move on to the draft. This is a different executive. I actually like that tackle, the kid that they took at 28.
Yeah.
Another exec said he's a little soft, but I think he has a lot of upside. He's really athletic. We weren't big on Gabe Jacobs.
Akis.
Of course.
J is silent.
Right.
It is.
I know. Well, no kidding, John. Like, I don't. No, you're a liar.
Yeah.
That was my issue with it. Was you saying it?
I believe you. And
Gabe
I didn't know.
Akis.
Well, have fun with that, everyone who has to talk about the Patriots next year. We weren't big on Akis, the defensive end from Illinois. Other than that, nothing really stood out from them, which is funny because I've heard people were very high on Akis. I don't know. It's the draft. I mean, everyone's. Vrabel didn't miss much on the last day, they're saying, by not being there. More than half the draft happens on the last day, so that's not the day to miss, another draft says. So, I mean, so people are split on whether he should have been there on Saturday.
So far, I mean,
I'll just fall down on the side of, yeah, you should have been there. That's you're the ultimate decider. Or not should have, but would it be better if he were there? Yeah. Why is that so difficult to say out loud?
No, it's not. I guess I don't think the debate was whether he should have been there. It was the effect of him not being there, I guess, is what's being debated. So there you go. I mean, thank God for this affair, huh? A little juice. Mm-hmm. I'm just kidding. But it is interesting because, look, this isn't going to be a story forever. But it's going to be a story this year. Like, it's not going away this summer. Like, it won't be talked about every day, but it's not going away this summer. And the final thing I'll say about it is, I'll repeat what I said to Bert, is being in media for a while. If you're Diana Rossini right now, apparently she's in a very just like kind of shell-shocked mode, as you would be. I mean, she's being talked about internationally for having an affair. She's taken down all her social media and stuff like that. The thing is that if she's only been a media figure, right, or a journalist. So if she wants to continue a career in media, it's of course possible and very likely if she wants to. If she wants to just protect her kids and not do any of this stuff, then there's really not much of an option. She's not going to be an insider again or anything like that, any kind of reporter. But if she wanted to have a career in media, the OnlyFans, no. If she wanted to have a career in media, the way to do it would be let some time go by, then you come out, you do like call her daddy or something like that. You talk about everything that's going on. You talk about the effect, but in order to have this all happen, you have to talk about your affair with Vrabel.
There's no other way around it, or people are just going to say the whole thing is pointless.
Right, and then you can become a personality that's kind of sports light, like sports adjacent, which there's a massive market for. There's more than enough jobs to go around, and you become that. She's never going to be more famous than she is right now, which is, attractive if you're a media company. Yeah. Like, the affair isn't. People have overcome way worse. Thousands and thousands of famous people have overcome way worse stuff than having an affair. But so, yeah, but she's going to have to come out and she's going to have to be open about it. And if you're Vrabel, there's no incentive to be open about it. You just have to kind of put your head down and get through it. And just knowing itching in the back of your head that there's a chance that the person you're having an affair with, she's not going to badmouth them, but she'll talk about the dichotomy of what happened to her and the fallout in losing her job and all the fallout from her versus the fallout for him. And that's part of the narrative too. But if I'm her, I'm not being overly combative about that. I'm being more like a confessional kind of, and then making fun of the fallout almost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like having fun with how ludicrous media is now and things like that.
It's tough though, because you say, Fred, like right now she's got, this level of fame and notoriety that is attractive to media companies, but there is no way it sounds like she is, nor would I expect her to be ready to tackle this from the standpoint of admitting to it, talking about it, having some self-depreciating commentary about it. Like that's far down the road. And will it be so far down the road that all this notoriety and fame have worn off?
Look, I don't think she's going to be a movie star, but I think that she could have a very, at least for a time, lucrative media career. And she doesn't have to, cheapen herself to do it. It's just she won't be reporting on the NFL as a reporter.
What do the people in Minnesota do if they don't have her podcast to hang on this offseason? Like we were told they all did last year.
Yeah, she had some podcast that she insisted was popular, just like everyone else. Everyone has a podcast and they're all popular.
That's right.
There's many podcasts as there are people on the planet, yet all these podcasts have everyone listening to them.
Right.
It's mathematically impossible. There has to be. They should make microphone companies like send you a demo tape in before they'll sell you one.
They should make microphones cost $100,000. You're serious about this?
No, because it didn't cost us $100,000 to go into the business because no one was going to pay us $100,000 in any industry.
We didn't have to buy the mics.
What I'm saying is that you got to earn the mic. At least impress somebody before you start babbling into it. Because the only thing with having a podcast that no one listens to if you're famous is that if you say something controversial, that's going to pop. And it's not going to drive people to your podcast. It's going to drive people to the people that are playing the clip of your podcast.
The YouTube clips or whatever you get.
We play stuff from athletes' podcasts all the time. In fact, we probably did this week, and I couldn't tell you the name of one of them or who did them even.
That's the thing. Cam Newton has been the blueprint for this. Anyone know the name of Cam Newton's podcast?
No.
That's the point.
Yeah, and the ones that really do deserve it, though, I'm more than happy to drive people to, like Pablo Torre. Now, Now that's, but that guy's like an already an established journalist and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but the point is this: is that there are good podcasts, there are great podcasts, but let's go nuts and say there's 50 of them. And there's 100 million podcasts.
Let's overshoot it by 20 or 30.
Great podcasts? Yeah. I mean, in 1990, how many great radio shows were there? 4? So, I'm giving them a lot, 50. But there's 100 million podcasts, and there's 50 good ones. It's enough. It's too much. It's annoying, and selfishly, it's annoying. It's annoying. You don't have to work in Cumming, Georgia and everything. You don't have to move around. It pisses me off.
You don't have to do the swap shop.
I did the swap shop once, and they wouldn't let me do it again.
That's right. You only did it. I did it for 6 months at least.
Well, they kicked me off of it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't taking it seriously. But
precursor of things to come.
Diamond.
Oh.
Yes.
Hello, Diamond. Is that your real name?
Diamond is a nickname.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. You're bejeweled right now?
Right as of now, no. Unless I'm going out.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Diamond. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling about the Mike Vrabel situation with Diana Rossini. So I find that I don't like to bring the race issue, but
black is because he's black.
No, I mean, but what you call it? Ime Udoka got fired because he had an inappropriate relationship with a worker. Then
but it was a coworker. Maybe it is because he's black, but I'll tell you this: is that it's because it was with a coworker. And the guy at Michigan was because he pulled a butter knife out and said that he was going to slit his wrist. But also he did stuff before that too. Who did the guy from Michigan have sex with?
One of the members on the staff.
So that's the difference. Yeah. Diamond is and Diamond. I do not doubt your abilities of seduction. You have quite the pipes on you. But listen, maybe it's because they're black. I don't know. But the argument could be made. I'm not here to tell you why they were fired, but the argument can be made is because it's an HR situation because they had sex with someone working for the same company. That's what they would tell you. But maybe it's because they're black. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. But that would be the argument, correct? Is that they would say that they were inappropriate.
Yes. In the case, and in the case of Ime, it really ran afoul of people in the organization. They did not like the amount of upset that it brought to the team. You could argue with Mike Vrabel, well, this has been a distraction, but in what way did it upset the team? In what way did it hurt anyone else in the building or the job that they're doing?
Yeah, unless you're like a television evangelist or something, and even then they don't really have to pay a price. A affair is an affair. Like, who loses their job because of an affair? Unless you're like some moral bastion of, or you have some Never Get Divorced podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how having the affair should affect you professionally at all.
Is that why you keep touting the benefits of divorce? Are you starting a never?
I'm not touting the benefits of divorce. In all seriousness, I do think that people like feel this kind of like that they're doomed if they get divorced. I'm actually trying to kind of be helpful. If you're in a situation that you feel is untenable, it's scary to get divorced and it's expensive and there's like a lot of downside to it. But on the other end, as you live the rest of your life, I can tell you from my experience, it's not all bad. Like there's being in a relationship with, and I get along, as you know, extremely well with my ex-wife, and I always respect her and I'll love her because of, my relationship with her and the kids. I mean, I do love my ex-wife. She's phenomenal, but we don't need to live together or be married. And that's been, and I'm just telling you that's possible.
And I'm just telling you, I'm going to check and see if the Upside to Divorce name has already been taken by a podcast.
Thank you. Because I'm not running around going like, oh my God, you get laid and da 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 da. I'm just saying that it's like sometimes it's, if there's something hanging over the relationship, that by getting, separating in that way, you can restore a different kind of relationship, and then you can go off and live your life in the way that you want to. Sean from Montana, you're changing the subject to something irrelevant like the Celtics. Sean, go ahead. Go ahead,
Hello,
Sean.
yes, and I just wanted to make sure you guys got your point across right there. Thanks for taking my call and stuff. Great show as always. I'm really angry with the Celtics, like we all are. The point is, you're up 3-1. We were in control of this series. I called it Celtics in 5. But to lose Game 5 and lose Game 6 is completely unacceptable. You should be able to wrap that series up in 5. I wanted it done in 5. Now, here's the way I look at it with series. If you're up 3-1, you should be able to finish them off in 5. Because if you don't, you're giving the team a little bit of momentum if they win Game 5. And Philly now has a bit of momentum. The Celtics' problem is they can't make their free throws. That's despicable that you can't make – I mean, Jaylen Brown, I can't trust him at all. I think he's the worst free throw shooter right now because he was, 2 for 6. Tatum missed free throws. The 3-ball, I've always said this with the Celtics, okay, and you might agree or disagree. You're not going to win games if you literally just chuck from 3 and just pray for the 3 to go in. Bomb 3 is what I call it, because it's like you need to learn to attack the paint and take the ball to the basket. I understand the NBA today is like a 3-ball, but for crying out loud, go to the basket and stop the excuses of just chucking up threes and think that that's going to go in, because you know what? If you shoot too many threes, that's going to hurt the team a lot.
Yeah, but they won a championship shooting threes.
They are one of the most efficient offenses in the entire NBA, and they did it by shooting threes. They had a bunch of guys who are good at it until the last 2 games. Now none of them are.
The better argument is you need to be able to pivot if that's not working.
True.
And not pivot in an organizational, the way that you go about playing, but like if in game – it would seem that you would make an adjustment. You would say this isn't working tonight, and we're in a playoff series where we got to win. Perhaps we should be able to counter whatever Philadelphia is doing, or to make up for our lack of precision.
There are only 3 guys really on the roster that can do this, and Tatum goes to the basket too, but. Guys that have been ultra aggressive. Pritchard has turned himself into a guy who can go to the basket. Derek White's pretty good at it too. He's got that nice little floater in the lane. And Jaylen Brown is the guy who's best at it. And if Jaylen Brown isn't getting to the basket, and he wasn't last night, Paul George bodied him out of there, they're in a lot of trouble. But as far as shooting threes, I mean, if this guy is any kind of Celtic fan, he's watched it now for 4 years.
Yeah,
this shouldn't be shocking to him.
It works. It just, if it's not working on that particular evening, you should be able to pivot, it seems. Now, John, I have one question for you because you're Mr. Basketball. What former player and coach has suggested the NBA getting rid of the three-point line?
It's not Steve Kerr, is it? No,
it is Steve Kerr.
Yeah, Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr, who made his living
shooting threes.
Do you know he's like
that's the best 3-point shooter in the history of the game.
He was like 48%.
Yeah.
No, Kerr is the best percentage-wise 3-point shooter of all time.
Yep.
He's something like 48. He made like half of the threes he took. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
Steve
imagine if he
Kerr,
was on
yeah.
the Celtics.
Yeah.
If Steve Kerr was on the Celtics and shot 48% from three, how many points a game do you think he'd put up?
Boy.
He'd be the third option or the fourth option.
Yeah,
but
if he's coming off the bench, he averages 15 or 20 a game. If he starts, it would be more.
yeah, he'd probably be like the Pritchard on the count of White. But,
Sure.
not White the player, the skin color White.
Sure.
All right.
Right.
We'll be back in just a moment with the email.
You're listening to Toucher and Hut.
Okay?
Toucher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Zone.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
It is. It's a fantastic idea. We're the only people that read emails. The Toucher and Hardy email bit is powered by Jeffrey Glassman. Injury lawyers are good friends. If you've been hurt in a car or work accident, you got to get Glassman. Don't just send an email, dummy. Call all sevens at 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com. We got an email from someone who does not want to be named. They're not saying anything controversial, but fine. I don't know them, but it's interesting because they're right, and it's really sad. And they turn out to be right. I've done my research.
Oh, no.
It says, don't mention my name. I don't know why. There's no thing. I can't believe you guys haven't mentioned your guy. I can't believe you haven't mentioned your guy, Pablo, since he did a brief dive into the Vrabel-Rossini affair. If you did, I missed it, and I'm sorry. We did not. You've missed nothing, believe me. He didn't have a lot on it, but the one interesting nugget was that the day they spent hanging at the pool was actually with a handful of other coaches and wives. That part in her email is incorrect. I'll get to it. Allegedly, Rossini was trying to host her own party to compete with Jay Glazer's annual day drinking with the coaches poolside party. I personally think that's why she and Mike felt like they could get away with their story that they were with others. Obviously, that was still misguided and a bad move since that wasn't the whole truth and the other pictures came out. But I wonder if the pool pics were the only photos shown to Rossini when the Post came knocking on her door. Again, really bad move to handle how they did. Very arrogant. So I looked into it, and it is absolutely true. This is from SI. According to Tori, Rossini was hosting a pool party on the opposite side of the Biltmore Hotel pool from where Fox's Jay Glazer was hosting what he called the 18th NFL head coach's day drinking day at the NFL owners' meetings.
Mm-hmm.
In the caption of the video Glazer posted, he noted 28 of the 32 head coaches were there. One of the coaches not seen in the video was Vrabel. Tori also reveals that Rossini and Vrabel were the topic of conversation at Glazer's party. It's just sad that she did this party, perhaps in a ruse just to have sex with Mike Vrabel. This is a quote. Now, the thing that happened that day at the pool, March 31st, 2026, at the Biltmore, is that all of these head coaches across the pool and their wives, I am told, started talking about Vrabel and Rossini. Tori told David Simpson on his podcast. Was it Tori or David Simpson? Hopefully it's Tori's podcast, because now it's getting so intertangled. And this was days before the photos broke in the New York Post, which is to say, also a thing I found out was that their friendship was not breaking news to the people at the NFL owners' meetings. They all knew that, in fact, they were out front together at this other competing aspirational party. I can tell you that part of what the game is, said Tori, that Diana Rossini was trying to play was, what if I do the thing Jay Glazer does quite successfully? How can I build my own party? Now it's just sad.
What are you doing?
Everyone's had a party, I hope, where not as many people showed up as you thought were going to show up. I certainly have.
Mm-hmm.
There's one day in general that my roommate and I in Atlanta bought a keg, and like 2 people showed up.
Oh.
And we had this huge keg. There's nothing more depressing than that keg. And it's a real symbol of your failure as it just sits there in melted ice, just bobbing up and down as a sense of there's still plenty left. You could have 2 more parties, and I'm still going to be full. But the idea that she was trying to throw a party in one coach game, the part that the email got wrong is that, like, some coaches were there. It doesn't sound like any coaches were there except for Vrabel.
And I thought those were like 2 different dates. I didn't think there was that. So Jay Glazer's pool party happened on the same day that they were at the place in Arizona?
I guess. I mean, I've seen pictures of the Glazer thing and all the coaches around a big table. But
it's awesome.
It's also really lame that you would say, like, oh, Jay Glazer, he's an established NFL guy and he does a pool party. I'm going to do a pool party too.
Yeah, it's all
do something else.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's kind of depressing, and it's only depressing because I've been there, not having an opposing party. But it's like if you know Johnny's bar mitzvah is on the 26th, you don't put your kid's bar mitzvah on the 26th. Let Johnny have his day. Yeah, Johnny was bar mitzvah. It's recently that he's turned his back on Judaism.
I got an email early this morning because they've been talking about this for days, weeks, maybe on the Ben Maller show about his meet and greet and where it's taking place. Will the Toucher and Hardy show be in attendance? And there was some discussion of it on the National Ben Maller show last night and this morning. And Ben Maller kept saying, Fred's not coming. Fred wouldn't do that. No, nobody is going there. And the caller was like, well, Joe Murray's going to go. But I absolutely would go. But number one, I believe the meet and greet is in Worcester.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
And I do have that Derby party to attend.
Yes, I believe he's throwing out the first pitch at the Woo Sox game.
Oh, I've done that.
And and then we got the Celtics tomorrow night. So
there's a lot going on.
If it were happening like closer and it were game one of Celtics Knicks, I would just record it and I would go to the Ben Maller thing just to meet Ben.
Well, I listen to Ben Maller all the time. He's on before us in the mornings. He's the only overnight show we've ever had leading into us that wasn't a disgrace. Now, Fred, what are you saying? Everything's bad. No, a disgrace. Amy Lawrence is just awful. And then we had some weird Christian guy before that.
That's John's friend, Amy Lawrence.
Not anymore.
Don't say
I ruined that.
That was Houston.
I torpedoed that whole
big
friendship.
old hole in that relationship.
I mean, she'll be on Mad Dog sometimes, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Not guest hosting.
Not for Mad Dog. No.
No, but she's on.
But she'll
she
be
has a
on-
show on Mad Dog Radio.
Like sometimes, like early morning weekends, she'll be on. And you're just like, oh, my God.
Does he give her the typical guest treatment? She's like, yeah, that's good. Talk about that. Go.
No,
You're doing great. Go.
Mad Dog's not on. Mad Dog is the sports channel that Mad Dog hosts a
just
show
the
on.
She's on the channel.
She's on the channel. So they're 24-hour sports talk, but they like on the weekends she'll do like a show. And so does that guy who's worse than her.
Robin Lundberg.
Robin Lundberg, I just feel bad for because it's like the worst job for him. Someone should have told my son, who doesn't listen to two words out of my mouth or the radio in any form, audio words. He doesn't like words. When Robin Lundberg was on, he goes, "What is this? This is the worst radio host I've ever heard."
Yes.
And now he always goes, "Is that guy on? I want to hear that guy."
He was co-hosting with Golick's kid. That was our lead-in for a while.
No. That was on ESPN.
No, but I'm telling you, I thought for sure for a period of time he and Golick Jr. had the show on before ours.
Oh, that might. I thought that they were on ESPN radio.
They were on ESPN radio, but I think we had them at some point.
We had some when we first started. There was a syndicated overnight show with a lunatic Christian guy.
That's right.
Not all Christians are lunatics. Save it. No, a real lunatic, like major breakdowns in his life, and he had a. Remember, John?
Yes.
He did this thing where he had like a pre-taped, where he had a caller on that had been in Nam, and they're playing like majestic like hero music over it.
Yeah.
And the names, and listen, the guy was in Nam.
Ted Sarandis?
But the names that he was using for the Vietnamese
it's a good
were highly inappropriate in this day and age.
Oh, God. Oh,
yeah.
So the caller was recounting his time in Vietnam?
I believe it was I believe it was pre-taped because to my recollection, there was like heroic music under it.
This guy was positive thoughts through sports or something.
But it's also a little exploitive that he just had some random guy that happened to be in Vietnam, like going on and on about Vietnam, and then like positioning it as if he was some sort of hero by having this guy on. Like that's exploitive in my opinion, and not valuable to the people that were in Vietnam or anything. But anyway, the point of it is he's spraying around words for the Vietnamese, which I'm sure him and the guys that were in Vietnam do. But he was doing it on the radio, which if you're the guy from Nam, I know, big deal. But if you're the lunatic host,
tough to put that on the airwaves. Yeah.
But yeah, remember, John? It was like
he had all sorts
positivity
of things.
through sports.
Positivity, but I mean, he had some fascination with the Clemson football team. That was a couple of weeks.
He went to a Clemson game.
Oh God!
And for like a month, he talked about going to the Clemson game in great detail.
Yeah, because
nothing happened.
He got out of the house.
No, it got even.
That to him that was a big happening.
But then there was a story about how he kind of locked himself in his closet and made peanut butter sandwiches and ate them in there.
Yeah, he like had a mental
It was really
breakdown.
something.
He was like a big drug addict or something.
Yeah.
He found God and then he got sober. But
everyone in the back is saying that the Ben Maller meet and greet is next weekend.
Oh,
okay.
All
right. So.
I would like to
sure?
meet Ben Maller, but I don't want to go to a meet and greet.
You're sure? All right. It's not this weekend.
All right.
I guess it's in honor of a caller. They're going to Worcester in honor of a caller of his in like a Feinbaum kind of way. He has these callers that he becomes in a way close to. And this guy was a caller that had passed away that always wanted him to come to Worcester. So I guess they're going to this Woo Sox game. And Ben Maurer's been very open. If it's not a good game, or maybe if it is a good game, maybe not 9 innings. Maybe they duck out of there before the 9 innings are over.
Apparently, it's 2 nights. I see here 2 nights.
It's a
Friday, Saturday.
And the Woo Sox are a good product.
Yes,
and it's
ballpark's
a
really
beautiful
nice.
ballpark. Yep. I'm not saying anything about going to a Woo Sox game. I would highly encourage it. It's a much cheaper option. But I don't know about if you're having like a big, huge affair.
You going on Sunday?
To the Red Sox game, yes.
No.
Yes. I got my tickets, John, for $101 a ticket. StubHub has done something where they do not charge nearly as much in service fees as they used to. So
good stuff.
The tickets, $101 a piece. Visiting dugout. We're in a good place.
What row?
I don't know.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. I know what section I'm in.
Matters to John. He wants to know.
I don't know. I could tell you off the air, or I could tell you on the air in the next break.
Okay. Let's do that.
But then I'll be mobbed. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
The Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. All right. Hardy, as we ease on into the weekend, my parents are coming into town, and they're only staying till a week from Saturday. They're not staying with me.
Quick, in and out.
They're not staying with me because of stairs.
I was going to ask about that.
Well, they're 84.
Yeah,
I mean, they can't be going up. I don't want them going up and down the stairs. But I'm leaving for Detroit with my daughter next Friday. I'm doing the show, but like next Friday we're seeing Bruno Mars. And my daughter informed me while I looked for the tickets on my phone that I had yet to buy the tickets to Bruno Mars, which was smart, actually.
Yeah. By the way, Beetle filling us in on the Vrabel situation. I don't know if you knew this, but Beetle has been following the Vrabel Rossini story.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Him needling Zolak has been fantastic.
About the pool party, the dueling pool parties, he said, no, entirely different days. Sedona was before they went to the owners' meeting where the Glazer party happened. The days in Sedona were the days that filled the gap between Vrabel's pro day visit at Arizona State and the start of the owners' meetings a few days later back in Phoenix.
Oh, good information.
That is.
So she was having a competing party, but before she was trying to preempt the Glazer party. But maybe it was also just a ruse to be alone with Mike Vrabel.
Or she hosted another separate party when Glazer's party was going on. I thought that's what I had read.
Bertrand's probably right. It was just a competing party, but she tried to get in a couple days beforehand.
Maybe. Okay. Things for Adam 12 this weekend.
Delightful.
How about this one, 12? The 48th Wake Up the Earth Fest.
Wake up, Earth.
Come join the movement that stopped a highway. 48th annual Wake Up the Earth Festival celebration of communities, Roxbury, Jamaica Plain, stopping the raised highway from destroying their neighborhoods. This is when they were going to take put the 95 connected on a straight line from where it now stops where I am in Canton.
Right.
And it was going to just be a beeline through all those neighborhoods in Boston to pick up where it now continues. So all-day music and dance performances, public and interactive art.
I wonder if there'll be any grounding.
Molecular structure of your cells.
Maybe I'll run into lift shafts.
That's at the Stony Brook Orange Line T-stop, should you choose to attend.
Yeah, when they were building the interstates, that was a big thing. They would go, black neighborhood, see you later.
Right.
We're just going to lay the freeway right through them. They did that in Detroit.
This is something that I would attend for the delicious and festive celebration that is the Greek Orthodox Church Euro Festival.
Euro Festival. Any Greek festival is worth attending just for the food.
Rossi. I don't remember this taking place when I lived in Rossi. 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh,
wow.
Full day of Greek food, culture, community.
We're closing streets down for this?
Of
Eating
course.
and dancing. Can't get enough.
Nice.
So it's at the Greek Orthodox Church at the corner of Robert and Belgrade Ave in Rossi. I think maybe this was going on, but it's free to get in, 12. That's the good news for you.
And then you get money left over to buy all that good food. I'm actually heading up to Rochester, New Hampshire tomorrow for Free Comic Book Day. The first Saturday in May every year is Free Comic Book Day at your local comic book shop. And my favorite comic book shop is Jetpack Comics in Rochester, New Hampshire. So
you're driving to New Hampshire to get a free comic book?
$4 a tank?
A bunch of
Where? How long a drive is that for
Rochester?
you?
It's like an hour. I love
That's
it.
all.
I got a bunch
Hour
of friends up
for
there,
free
gonna
comic
hang
books.
Out, drink some beer.
What's in your stack, big guy?
They do a whole That's right. They do a whole festival.
I mean, you should see the women.
I'll text Adolfo and we can talk about our free comic books.
My friend Jerry Stasnopoulos had a super hot sister, and when she was at Michigan State, she got a fiance right after they graduated, and he had to convert to Greek Orthodox. Not an easy process. Not an easy process.
Well, you have to ask him to fast track it.
You got to wear onions and garlic around your neck, like Kramer. But yeah, I mean, it was a whole situation. Boy, oh boy, that guy really. They got to still be married.
What did he like best about it? I think the hats. It's very pious looking.
All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Have a